You know, this is a young man who was a child actor and has really progressed.
Thanks very much.
Yeah. Hey, man, good to meet you.
Pleasure's mine. Pleasure's mine.
Enjoying your movies and stuff. You know, the question always is, I would say your career. Hey, good to see you.
Pleasure, man. Thanks for having me.
I would say your career is on fire. You're doing really well.
Thanks.
You know what I mean? You've been in a lot of good movies.
Thank you.
Were your agents upset with you, or whoever talks to you about your career?
Yeah.
Were they upset that you decided to direct and write and star in your own movie? In other words, I'm sure you get offered a lot of cool roles.
Yeah, I mean, and if you were just looking at it like from a money perspective, it's not necessarily the most go-to surefire way to maximize profit.
That's the thing. So did anyone sit you down and say, look, you've got a bunch of movies, you can only do so many a year. Listen, son, you know, enough with the directing and writing. I love the movie,
Do
by the way.
that when things
Thanks,
slow
man.
down.
You liked it. That means a lot to me.
Great. Well, first of all, it's like an R-rated movie that you don't see that anymore. All you see is like these big sort of superhero movies.
Sure.
And what I liked about it is you're dealing with an adult topic.
Yeah.
Every guy I know jerks off way too much.
Every guy?
This would be your movie.
Yeah. I mean, you just shook my hand. I'm pretty sure I just finished jerking off. I got to tell you, you know, it really deals with a topic that I couldn't take my eyes off the screen.
Thanks,
I love the movie.
Thank you. You're right. And when it's rated R, you get to talk like people actually talk. You don't have to restrict yourself.
And I think women will like this movie because it lets it out of the bag that this is how guys watch pornography.
Sure.
And that we'd rather jerk off sometimes than be with a woman because it's less aggravation. And then there's kind of a love story there where you kind of come to a full realization type thing, you know?
Yeah, and it also shows both sides because the character that Scarlett plays, you know, her character, she's
hot, man.
She's very hot, and but she watches just as many romantic comedies as my character watches pornography. So it does kind of tell it from both sides, which is, I think, why. Yeah, both men and women have been really digging it.
Did you have to cut a lot of this stuff out because they wanted to give you an X rating on this movie?
I didn't cut anything out. No time, no lines, no beats.
Really?
I did change. So there's a few montages in the movie, just to explain. You've seen it, but for people who haven't seen
There's a lot of hardcore, you know.
It's sampled from real pornography clips, but it's very carefully edited and cropped, and it's, you know, it fits into a rated R movie. I always wanted it to be a rated R movie.
I love it because you know, when I made my film, I made it rated R because I wanted to make an
private parts.
Private parts. I wanted to make an adult movie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And deal with some adult themes.
Well, when I first started thinking of the movie as this kind of comedy, I was in the middle of shooting 50-50. I don't know if you've seen that movie. I was in.
Yes,
and that's you know, the Seth Rogen and that whole gang of guys. They make rated R comedies.
That's right.
And they improvise a lot, and they can talk how they talk in real life.
Yeah.
Because if you know, look. And you can say this on the radio now, right? Fucking shit and whatnot.
Yeah,
when I was growing up, you know, you couldn't say that on the radio on your show.
No. Not only had to make up like
no,
weird
that
words.
was real radio. This is satellite.
Like bullshit,
right.
You know?
Was it bleeping, or you just couldn't say the stuff?
You just couldn't say it.
Yeah, you would just avoid it.
You'd find creative ways of trying to talk like a normal person, you know?
Right.
But even that I'm here now, I don't want to just use profanity for the sake of it, but if it works in, then great. You know what I mean?
Yeah, if it's just an emphasis, an accentuation, maybe.
When I watched the movie, I said, "Oh, Tony Danza, interesting choice for the guy to play your father."
Isn't he awesome in it?
I thought he was great and funny, but I didn't realize when you were a kid actor, you worked with Tony Danza.
It was our 20-year reunion in Angels in the Outfield in 1993, and I was 12.
So I think it was the guy who was in Batman with you, Christopher. What's his name? I can't think of the guy's name.
Who, Christian Bale?
Christian Bale. Did he tell you not to direct your own movie and write a movie? Didn't somebody advise you?
Oh, yes. That's something that went around on the internet. That's not really true. But what they're talking about is Christopher Nolan, who directed.
Oh, Christopher Nolan.
Yeah,
right,
the Dark Knight trilogy and Inception, and he was really supportive. I was working on The Dark Knight Rises when I finished the draft of the script, and I told him I think I want to direct something. And what he started doing was asking me questions, and he did ask me like, "Are you sure you want to act and direct at the same time?" He also asked me, you know, what kind of budget do you think you're going to try to do? Are you going to get a big studio to try to pay for?
What was your budget? Was that a big budget? That's not a big budget film, is it?
No, it was a very low budget movie. It had like about half the budget of 500 Days of Summer, which has about a third of the budget of the lowest budget movies.
What's the budget on your new movie?
It was like $4 million.
Don John. Wow, looks bigger than that.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Dude, it's been coming for years. I've been working towards this.
You're really excited about this. And I don't blame you, because this is really your baby.
Yeah, it's the first time I've ever had the story in my head. I mean, like, I know how I want to do it. I know how I want to tell the story. I know I want to shoot it and cut it and score it and everything, and went and made it.
And you really started thinking this up in 2008?
The first ideas, yeah, the first ideas of like a Don Juan type of character who watches too much pornography, and a princess type of character who watches too many romantic comedies.
Right, the typical guy who just thinks he's hot shit, and the fact that he can fuck anything he wants, but regardless of that, he doesn't care. He wants to jerk off.
Well, he likes the one-way thing. He doesn't want to actually deal with a person, another human being. He likes just having it.
How much of this is autobiographical, in the sense that if this whole script came out of your head?
Have you had a phase like that?
Have you been in relationships with women where you go, you know what, she's a fucking pain in my ass, and I'd just rather jerk off? Is that what?
I haven't had long relationships with women like that, because I don't stay in relationships with a woman like that.
What is that? You have had long relationships with women, but but you're quick to run. Is that because you're famous and you're worth about $25–30 million, and why get married?
Hard to argue against that. I don't think so. I think I'm a pretty good person and a good boyfriend. Yeah, I wouldn't want to be with someone if they were going to be disrespectful to me.
Do you think that you ever could get married to someone and be faithful for the rest of your life?
That's a really good question.
No is the answer.
Yes, your girlfriend is asking that question.
I think that I could partner up with somebody. I don't know who that somebody is. I could partner up with a woman and commit to, like, okay, we're going to raise a family, and that's this project we're going to stick to for whatever it is, 20-something years.
But you don't think you could be sexually monogamous?
No, I think during that time, if that was part of it and it made sense, I could be sexually monogamous. After that, once the kids are out of the house, you know, things go so fast. My life changes so much. You love meeting new people. You can't. Nothing. Who knows if it's the better thing for me or the better thing for her? Or maybe I will spend the rest of my life with her. My parents are still together. My grandparents, you know, I had 75 years of marriage or something.
Did your parents push you into being a child actor?
Not at all. That's an important question. I'm glad you asked.
Yeah,
because I was a kid when I was working. I started when I was 6.
That's what I'm saying. So how can you say your parents didn't?
I swear to you, they did not. I remember it very particularly. I remember. Well, I was in
wait a second. Your family. Your grandfather was a film director.
He was. That's true. Yeah.
Your father was an artist.
No, he was a journalist. He was on the radio.
He was on the radio.
Yeah,
Pacifica,
he did news.
Right? But he was a news guy.
Yeah.
And your mom was something of an actress or something.
No, not an actress. She worked at the same radio station my dad did. She was doing journalism stuff, and then she also. You're thinking of, she ran for Congress at one point under the Peace and Freedom Party.
Pretty incredible parents. I mean,
they are incredible parents.
Accomplished people. You see a close relationship. You see marriage. There's something there that you see not right, though, right? Because it's not for you.
I didn't say it's necessarily not for me. I said I didn't know if it was or wasn't.
Right.
I like to not be too committed to any one future that's really far away necessarily, unless there's a reason, which is why I'm saying if you were going to raise a family and say, like, we're going to raise these kids, that's the reason we're staying together, we're going to do it right the whole time. So I can see making that commitment.
That's why I think Don John is autobiographical, in a sense. It's an exaggeration. Do you masturbate to porn in your personal life?
I have. Yes,
you have?
Sure.
Do you feel that you have an addiction to porn?
Do I feel that? No, I wouldn't say that. No,
do you sometimes personally prefer porn to being with a real woman?
Well, I've had some sex with women that wasn't so good. I think we all have at some point or another. I've also had lots of sex that was good, you know.
I used to be obsessed with this. The reason I love your movie, Don John, is because I feel I was obsessed with, I gotta have sex, I gotta have sex, I gotta have sex.
Yeah.
And then it occurred to me that I didn't need that much sex.
It becomes like a thing that you're consuming, and you keep score, you know, against your buddies. It becomes a competition,
right?
You know, as opposed to a connection with another person. That's the whole story of Don John, is this guy that can't connect with anybody, and it's the women in his life. It's also the family you see with the Tony Danza scenes.
Yeah, I think you've tapped into a lot of what a lot of people are going through. That they can't connect with real people.
Right.
can't stay in a relationship. They don't see the joy in it, and they don't see the beauty in it.
And they're used to this sort of one-way satisfaction given by whatever media they consume, whether that's pornography or television. You know, let's talk about people being addicted to television or just any kind of media, or
thinking that television people are their friends. Yeah, that's their whole relationship.
Are you like one of those hippie kind of guys? Like you won't watch that much TV? You strike me as one of these guys. You know what I mean?
I like my things that I like to watch.
Yeah, what do you watch now on TV?
On TV? I haven't kept up with that. No, I mean, really? I watch the NBA. I'm excited. I'm a Lakers fan.
So you
watch sport?
Really just the Lakers.
Are you a fan of any television, though? I'm talking about like dramas on TV.
Episodic
and this kind
television.
of thing.
Sure. Yeah. I mean,
anybody you admire?
Dramas on TV. Louis C.K. I mean, it's not a drama exactly, but that is brilliant. He makes, I think, brilliant little half-hour movies.
Because you were pissed off when in your career. You were a child actor. You worked on.
I was pissed off. Be nice. What do you mean?
No, we're going to get to this. You were on 30 Rock from the Sun. Or whatever
Third Rock
from the Sun. I don't know any of that.
30 Rock from the Sun.
I'm out of it, man. You know, I'm on a whole nother trip.
Every single person always makes that mistake.
All right, Third Rock from the Sun. You were on there. You were a kid.
Yeah.
And I admire you. You said the final year of that show, you said, "Fuck it, I'm not going to that anymore. I'm going to college."
Well, that's yeah, right? Okay, that is true.
That's admirable because you probably turned down a lot of money.
Yeah.
But you were smart. You said, you know what? I want to go get an education. I want to go have a real life.
And the producers of that show were really generous to let me out of a contract.
Where'd you go to college?
To Columbia here in the city.
Right. So you're a smart guy. You go to Columbia. You're probably getting tons of pussy because you were on TV.
You had been on TV.
Yeah, right. See, I never, and maybe that is part of what this movie's about. I don't know, but I never was able to be honest, it always freaked me out too much. I grew up, I was, on TV and movies and stuff since I was a kid, so like getting attention from girls for that reason, I've always had a bit of a phobia about it in a way.
So when you go to Columbia, how did you know if a girl was really into you?
That's a really good question. I asked myself all the time.
What's the test? Do you give them some, hey, do you know who I am? Or
Yeah, I don't think there is one test. It's kind of a case-by-case, thing. You just have to kind of...
to find a real person.
Do you think you know now? Do you think you can figure it out?
I think I have a pretty good sense with everybody, but yeah.
I admire that you were able to say no to Hollywood. Now, I'm not bullshitting you. I find it in my own life very difficult to say no to things. It's very, very, you want to almost grab everything.
That's the only power you have as an actor is to say no. You can choose what project you do. Well, you can say no to the rest.
That's why I admire that you made your own movie and you wrote it because financially, the grab would be for, hey, my career is hot.
Yeah.
I got a lot of good stuff going on. Let me grab at something here. But you made and it could be a very wise movie because I think you've directed a really good movie and this could lead to more directing.
Thanks, man. Well, I hope so, too. I'm really glad you liked it.
But saying no to Hollywood...
Well, who are your heroes?
When saying no to Hollywood, when you're, a young guy and you're on Third Rock from the Sun and walking away from it all and going to college, shows you're together.
Thanks.
It does. It's psychological. Did you ever go in therapy?
I never did, no.
Never saw a psychiatrist.
Why would he go into therapy? He's still young. He hasn't made it.
Well, he's also he's beaten off a lot, according to his might be
but
beating
who are
off
your who are your heroes?
Clearly,
who do you admire?
Clearly me.
In show business. Clearly you. Yes. Okay.
Let's see. Who do I admire in show business?
Like in the movie making industry.
Well, there's a director named Hal Ashby that made Harold and Maude and
great movie.
Shampoo and Being There and
that's a great director.
Let's see. I mean, Woody Allen. I love his movies.
When you so you leave Third Rock from the Sun, you go to college. And suddenly then you decide, hey, I'm done with college. I want to go back and act.
Yeah.
And you were getting offered some TV roles, but you wanted to get into film.
Yeah.
That was a hard time for you, right? Because everyone was saying, he's trying to make a comeback.
That's just it. I couldn't get a job.
Right. And the TV didn't interest you. You wanted to be a film actor.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, again, you had to turn down shit.
You're right.
See what I'm saying?
For a lot of money, if you want to know the truth.
Well, what did you get offered? Did you get offered some cool TV shows that became big hits?
I don't remember, any like that. I mean, I got offered some TV shows, but I don't remember any particular that became hits.
And when you say big money, you're not kidding, because for a kid just out of college, in a sense, getting offered these TV roles, it's a lot of money a week.
Television, yeah, like network television like that is quite a payday.
So you kept getting offered this stuff. You stuck to your guns. And what was the role in the movie that finally broke for you, that you got something?
I mean, there was one Sundance, the Sundance Film Festival. I had a couple movies there, these little indie movies, one called Mysterious Skin, one called Brick, and, then it's Scott Frank, who made The Lookout, saw Mysterious Skin, and then Chris Nolan, who saw, he put me in Inception, and it goes kind of one thing to another. I've been working a long time, and it's just been
At the end of Batman, The Dark Knight.
Right, The Dark Knight rises. Howard.
It's sort of implied that your character was either going to be Robin to Batman, or maybe even in some way become Batman.
Right.
Because that's what it led us to believe.
Yeah.
And now they just announced that Ben Affleck's going to be Batman.
That's right.
Was there some sort of notion that you would be the next Batman? I think you could be a good Batman.
Thanks. Well, that's a huge compliment. Thanks very much.
And I'm a big Batman fan.
Are you? Me too. I love Batman.
Huge. I'm a big comic book guy. So was there any discussion about you being the next Batman?
There wasn't, no. And Chris Nolan directed a trilogy. His plan was always to have 3 movies. He said very specifically, The Dark Knight Rises will be the 3rd and final story of this trilogy that I'm making.
Right.
And I think it's a really good ending, because it talks about it throughout, that Batman is more than a man, and it's a symbol, and we all have a hero within us. And so to have somebody else in the Batcave at the end of that trilogy, not Bruce Wayne, I think is a really cool ending.
So were you kind of shocked when they chose Ben Affleck? Because maybe you thought somewhere along the line you'd get the offer.
No, I was not, because, like I said, it's a story that Chris Nolan told with those 3 movies.
Right.
So I wasn't expecting the next time Batman showed up, it to be part of that Chris Nolan story,
How important is it to you to be in physical shape now as an actor? Seriously, because you're a good-looking dude.
Hey, thanks.
If I may say.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, you got a good look to you. I wish I
love in this studio.
No. You're a handsome guy. I'm going to be honest.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I would like to look like you.
Richard Simmons was just trying to get you to say something romantic. You saved it for...
While you're wearing a to you, I'll say something romantic. Well, you're wearing a T-shirt. I can see you're in pretty good shape. You know what I mean? You got a good look to you. Do you go to the gym? Do you hit it every day?
So when I was making Don John, I went to the gym a lot.
You were pretty pumped up.
Yeah, a lot. I put on a bunch of weight, eating and working out every day.
Is that the trick? You have to put on weight.
Yeah.
And who trains you? Like, you get a guy?
I did. I hired a guy, and his name's Aaron, and I actually knew him because he trained Channing Tatum is a friend of mine.
And he teaches you what to eat so you'll gain weight, but that you don't get a big belly because you work out like a motherfucker.
Because you work out so much that you just eat and eat and eat and eat.
What's the regimen? I gotta get some size on me. It's ridiculous.
I don't think the bodybuilding's all that healthy, really. It's really just a looks thing, which is why I wanted it for that character. Is again, he's like this vain dude. Everything in his life is this, this one-way street. So he goes to the gym and he looks in the mirror and he does his curls and it's chest on Monday, back on Tuesday.
And you were doing the heavy workouts, right?
I was doing that 5 days a week.
It doesn't blow you out? I mean, to the point that you like when I try to work out heavy, I can barely function. Like, I can't get on the radio and do a decent show.
It's like a part-time job, and it's not that healthy for you. I did another movie where I rode a bike every day.
Right.
Where I was playing a bike messenger, and I rode every day. That I felt healthy when I was riding a bike every day.
Right.
But doing the bodybuilding, eating all that food and putting on all that weight, it didn't feel healthy. It looked...
And it
looks like it looks.
And after you shoot Don John, then you just like, hey, screw it. I'm not gonna put this kind of regimen in anymore, right? That's it. It's ridiculous.
I don't have time. That was a lot of time out of my day.
How many pounds did you gain for Don John?
12 pounds.
12 pounds of solid muscle, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that is crazy.
Well, I'm small. I have a slender frame. I'm not one to naturally.
How tall are you?
I'm 5'10".
It's my type.
This is going so well.
I know. Huh? So
you two are going to have a date after this.
When you worked with Daniel Day-Lewis,
you
play Lincoln's son.
Is there water? I can drink some water.
What are you, a big shot? You need water?
Can you hear it?
With your own water?
Sit back down.
Hey, wait,
is this where I'm supposed to be sitting, by the way? How's it?
You're getting a little too fucking comfortable asking for water. Let me understand something here. When you work with a guy like Daniel Day-Lewis, as an actor, he says he stays in character all day long. I don't know if that was hype for the movie or what.
No.
He was in character. He was Lincoln.
He was Lincoln when he wasn't Lincoln.
Is that weird?
I was so impressed, and I mean, I don't know how you feel about his work, but I think he's sort of
terrific.
A unique phenomenon. It's brilliant, the shit he does. So whatever it takes, I'm down.
But did Lincoln take a car to the studio?
So he's not exactly always.
They let them get crazy.
It's more of like he stays in the voice, he stays in the mood. If you wanted to talk to him, it's not that you couldn't talk to him, but you weren't gonna. I wasn't gonna say like, oh, what about those Lakers? I was gonna be like, look at this painting that's on the wall or something if we were going to talk.
Because you're talking to Lincoln.
Yeah, to stay.
But he doesn't show up in a horse and carriage when he comes to the set.
But when I arrived, I received, or I found a note that he had written me on old paper with a quill and ink.
Wow.
And he
my goodness.
apparently in penmanship that he had studied that is similar to, I mean, he obsesses for a year before he does a role, and he just works the character for a year.
Wow.
But is that, I don't know what your technique is when you act. Did you have it? Did you go to acting school?
I took some acting classes when I was little, like 9, 10, 11,
Right.
but
you
other than
never,
that, I haven't studied.
At Columbia,
no.
you didn't study acting at all?
No.
You did, what was your major in Columbia?
I dropped out before I picked a major, but it would have been like French. I studied quite a bit of French.
Why? No one speaks French. Why not speak Spanish?
That is true. I think I was studying it more. I learned probably as much about English in studying French as I did.
Oh, you dropped out of school.
And I dropped out of school.
Oh, I was complimenting you that you went to school. And
you thought he finished.
I got a good, I think, school experience.
How many years did you last?
About. I was in the middle of. No, I'd started my 3rd year when I stopped.
And then you said, "This is bullshit. I'm going back to Hollywood."
You know what actually happened is for my 21st birthday, I got myself a copy of Final Cut. You know, the video editing software, and I got so into it, and I would just stay up all night, you know, shooting little videos, putting them on my computer, cutting them, because then you can really make movies. Once you're editing, it's not just shooting stuff. You can, like, make them into movies.
Aren't you shocked at these digital cameras that you could sit there and shoot your own stuff, and it's almost like a movie quality, right?
It's awesome. I love it.
Yeah, it's like, it's mind-blowing.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
You could really make a short film out of your house with software and cameras that really, it's not that expensive.
Absolutely. You can make one on your phone nowadays.
Yeah.
I mean, look, it's not that everybody can afford it. There are people that don't have computers and cameras and
Didn't
stuff.
you once you hate the paparazzi, right? You hate that whole scene.
It's kind of true, yeah.
Yeah. Why? Did you have a bad experience with the paparazzi?
Every experience with them is bad. They're rude. They're hostile people in general.
So you made a short film. Did you do that like sort of on your own, like a little...
That was actually right around, I think I was 22, and I was just learning Final Cut.
Right.
And I was walking down the street. These guys came up to me and started taking my picture, which doesn't really happen to me very much, and certainly didn't 10 years ago.
Right.
And I had my camera on me, so I started shooting them and having a conversation with them, and I you know, cut it down into this video. It was the first video I ever put up on YouTube.
Right.
A long time ago.
Yeah, and so your hatred for the paparazzi...
Now, hatred is a very strong word, man.
well, you don't like the whole Hollywood gossip scene and stuff, and
How do you stay out of it, a young guy, single guy?
You can't.
I don't know. I'm kind of boring. I like to work all the time. That's mostly what I do.
So get back to when you work with Spielberg.
Yeah.
Are you sitting there almost studying Spielberg more than you are even thinking about your own role in the film? Because I would imagine as a guy who wants to direct, and now you're directing your first film, I would just sit there and soak in whatever this motherfucker's doing.
And I certainly did. And that's also, I think, the best way to do your job as an actor is to understand what the director needs.
Does he give you a lot of direction when you play Lincoln's son? Does he come to you and go, hey, listen, this is what I need you to do? What is he like?
Yeah, sure.
What is that voice?
That's your Steven voice.
He's got a little thing going on there, right? Seriously, is he the type, like Woody Allen doesn't give you any direction, right?
That's what I've heard. I don't know.
Right, you never work with the guy.
No.
But Steven Spielberg will tell you, he won't tell you how to be.
No, and he's actually, what he was really good at doing on Lincoln is taking the energy that the actors are bringing and figuring out, okay, I know how to capture this, and he can do it so deftly. And again, because Daniel is playing with such sort of organic spontaneity, Steven would have this uncanny ability to be like, oh, you're going to do it that way? Great, cool. Give me 1 second. I'm going to set up this shot. And he would say, Mr. President, can you please take a step to the left? And he'd set up a shot.
He had
so
to call
quick.
Daniel Day-Lewis Mr. President.
He called him Mr. President, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Everyone called him Mr. President.
What a weird set.
I mean, come on. Does it sometimes just get a little surreal for you? Like this is just a weird world that you live
Surreal
in?
is a great thing. That's what I'm after. What do you think acting's about? That's the thrill of it, is going into some other place, becoming some other person.
But
that's what makes it fun.
Whatever you do to be an actor, once they say cut, I don't think you walk around as Lincoln's son, right? You don't,
Yeah, you're right.
You don't say you don't go and say I'm Joseph Gordon Lincoln, and you don't.
No, I do not. No, but I stay in the mood a bit. Doing Don John was interesting because I was going back and forth because I was directing at the same time.
Yeah.
And I think
did you tell Scarlett Johansson what to do, or do you feel kind of weird about it?
It was more collaborative than that, but sure, yeah.
How'd you get her to be in the movie? You send her the script and just pray?
I did pray. I wrote it with her in mind the whole time, and I went and visited her. She was shooting The Avengers in Albuquerque. Right. I flew myself to Albuquerque because I wanted to talk to her before she read it.
Right.
And we had this really great conversation about, men and women and love and sex and relationships and the media and how people develop unrealistic expectations.
But if you're making a film like Don John for a couple of $1 million, you've got to then sit down with her and say, look, I need you to do this for almost free.
That's right.
And you give her some, back end?
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not supposed to say that, but yeah.
But yes.
Yeah.
Well, what else are you gonna do?
And she deserves it. She was a big part of why the movie was able to get financed. If she hadn't agreed, we wouldn't have been able to raise those few $1 million.
No, and her name, you can get more of a release. Are you getting a wide release, or is
it's a wide release? Yeah, it's coming out in like 2,000-some screens.
So the studios and the movie owners and stuff, the movie theater owners, they all believe in the film.
Yeah.
Did you go to the festivals, or did you just?
We did the festivals. Well, yeah, because we made it independently without a studio behind it, and the idea was to go take it to Sundance, where you can hopefully get it picked up, and that's what happened.
What's Scarlett Johansson's story? Is she married, or she got a boyfriend or something?
She's engaged.
She's engaged. Oh, you can't even fuck around with her. Or maybe you did.
You know what? It's better for the movie, and movie was my baby, so I it's better for the movie if you don't fuck around outside of.
But don't you really? It's not a cliche. You do need to be turned on by your leading lady, especially if.
And of course, I was turned on by her, and between action and cut, it's.
So in other words,
it wasn't bad.
like you were falling in love with her during the making of the movie.
Acting is a funny thing about what you're feeling. Are you really falling in love, or is your character falling in love, or are you,
Are you confused by that?
Sometimes I'm confused. More I'm stimulated and inspired, and I love that because it goes to show that our feelings are something that we do have power over.
I'm not trying to be shocking here for a minute, but when you're in doing a bet, because you have some graphics, not graphic, but I mean you're really with her.
You're rubbing up against each other.
You're rubbing up against her.
Sure.
You don't get an arousal when you're working with her?
Of course.
And do you apologize to her and say, listen, I'm aroused now, I have a full erection.
Nice sound effect.
I'm a method actor.
I've heard someone said that this is a Denzel Washington quote. I've never met Mr. Washington, so I don't know if he really said this. But apparently he said, what did he say? Like, forgive me if I do get an erection, forgive me if I don't, basically.
Right.
Because it's not exactly an erotic situation. You've got all this crew all around you. You're shooting it for little pieces. It's a bit of a craft.
I don't understand the craft of it, because when I did my movie, no matter what woman they put me with, and I had scenes, I'd be erect. I really was. I'm being honest as I can be. I was aroused. I mean, I don't know, with a woman. I mean, what do I know
that
about
makes
process?
You an authentic actor, Howard. You're really feeling the scene.
I'm more in the Daniel Day-Lewis school.
It's clearly.
The scene says I am erect.
You're biologically connected to your character.
But you could lay in a bed with Scarlett Johansson and do some really fucking heavy making out, grab her titties, whatever, and still not get an erection.
I don't think I didn't get an erection.
So what do you do?
I
do you
can't
say to
confirm or deny whether I did or did not.
But do you say to her ahead of time, look, we got to work this out. I want you to know you're an attractive woman, and this could possibly happen. I'm not trying to.
No, we don't need to talk about it.
You don't?
No. It's not that she doesn't know, though.
Yeah, exactly. Like she felt it.
Yeah.
Wow. Did she say to you, listen, calm down, Junior?
No.
Well, wait a minute. What about if the woman gets too into it?
So there you have it. I think we were both, look,
are you kidding?
We're playing two characters that were enjoying each other. And
I know an actress. I'll never mention the name. I heard she demanded penetration in love scenes. Like, I'm not fucking with you. And this chick was hot. Like, this is someone you know. She would say, listen, if we're doing this, let's go. And that's something, man? You can put her in your next movie if you want. Man. That's how I would play it.
Yeah, I'll set it up. I'll make some demands.
Absolutely. You did Saturday Night Live, right?
Yeah, I've done it twice.
Yeah, you know, you're pretty good at it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Did that make you nervous at all?
I love it, man. It makes you very nervous.
Being live, right?
Extremely exhilarating. Yeah.
And Spielberg doesn't make you nervous when you do, act in front of him.
It's different. I was pretty nervous when I first met Daniel. Yeah, and was first working.
Does Daniel approve you or Spielberg approve you?
You know, it was a real flattering thing because I was told that Daniel asked for me to play that part.
He did?
Wow.
Yeah.
How did he know your work? What movie attracted him to you?
That's a good question. You know, I never asked him that.
He said, I want you for the movie. And then they bring you in. Do they make you read or you don't have to?
That time I did not. No.
Wow.
He sent me text messages, actually. He's quite an eloquent texter.
Really?
Daniel, yeah.
And, man, he wanted you for that film.
I know, man. That's a real honor because he's one of my favorites. He really disappears.
Yeah, you're on his radar.
Yeah, yeah.
That's why it was risky for you to direct your own movie because when you get that kind of accolades, you should just be acting all the time and raking in the dough.
Yeah, you know,
Look, Daniel Day-Lewis doesn't do that. He waits.
You're absolutely right about that. You know what? He does. He waits like crazy.
Are you going to play Doctor Strange? Have you heard this?
No.
I heard a rumor that you're a potential lead for Doctor Strange, which is a great comic.
Is it? I don't know.
Oh, Doctor Strange is weird.
Okay.
I mean, that's an acting challenge.
Is that right?
I like to see you do it.
What's he like?
He's mysterious.
Yeah. Does he have a superhero power?
Yeah, he's got all kinds of shit going on. Yeah, I mean, it's a whole thing.
What's so strange about him?
He's Doctor Strange.
I know, but why?
Well, you gotta be strange.
Listen, I have nothing to do with
pitching me this thing.
I'm not attached. I just wanted to know if you were up for it. That's all.
No.
Well, listen to me. This is exciting. Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Why the three names? Why Joseph Gordon-Levitt?
Yeah, because, you know, mostly assassins have those names.
That's right.
I didn't know that. My mom's name is Jane Gordon, and my dad's name is Dennis Levitt. And when they had kids, my brother and I took both their names.
Well, it's good for acting. I mean, you know.
Is it good for acting?
Yeah, because I think if you're just like Joseph Levitt.
Right, doesn't have the same.
Or Joseph Gordon. Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Now, that has a ring.
Yeah,
all right, I'll tell you. It sounds nice when you say it, Robin.
It does. It truly does. So what's the game plan? The movie's going to open up. Are you the type that's going to shit your pants on Friday? like, when do you get word how the movie's doing? When does that happen?
Money-wise?
Money-wise.
Yeah,
Let's talk cash.
Friday.
You'll know if people are going to see the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think with this movie, because people really actually like it when they see it, that's why they've been screening it all over the country a lot, because
you want to get buzz going.
And more even than the advertisements, people that actually see the movie itself really like it. So I think you might not be able to judge it by Friday, because people that see it on Friday are going to tell their friends to go see it Saturday and Sunday and the next weekend, hopefully.
How important is it for you to do this, to see a big box office on this movie? Like, what would make you happy? How much dough did we have to bring in this weekend?
Yeah, the truth is, as far as like professional satisfaction, what matters to me and what the box office numbers would make a difference is what kind of job I could do next. How much money could I raise to do my next movie?
That's what it's all about. If the movie's a hit.
And honestly, man, like, that's already feeling really good. I feel like I'll be able
You're on track.
I'll be able to make what, I don't know exactly what movie I want to direct next, but I'm thinking I'm going to be able to, and that feels like the success, you know.
Is Scarlett helping you promote the movie, or are you just
Absolutely.
She is? She's going out, she's doing all the shows and everything?
Yeah. Yeah, she was just on Jimmy Fallon and et cetera. Julianne Moore's doing it. Tony's doing it. Everyone's
Julianne
supporting
Moore,
her.
how's it working with her?
Fantastic. You want to talk about a good
I've met her a
actress.
few times socially. She's very standoffish with me. I don't think she likes me.
Oh, really? That's
she's
not been my
nice.
experience with her at all.
Well, I'm me, you know. People have a strange reaction to me. I don't know why.
Is that right?
No, not everybody, but some people are standoffish. I don't know that she doesn't like me, but I mean, she's not.
I think she might find you intimidating.
I've actually sat next to her at dinner parties,
And she didn't talk to you?
Literally has turned her back on me.
She's so sweet and generous and funny with me. Yeah, she's really funny in this movie.
Do you think maybe you and Scarlett Johansson should release like a secret tape of her twerking on you or something? You know what I mean? Or to
You think that's what we need to sell the flick?
Something viral. I don't know. I'm trying to think outside the box.
We were thinking of coming on your show. That was our plan.
That would have been nice. That would be fun. But you know, the thing is with this movie, you've been writing the thing and trying to get it done since 2008.
Yeah.
This is a long process.
You're
I'm
right.
gonna do some math. I think this is 2013 now.
Yeah.
Yes,
2008, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. That's 5 years of your life.
You're right.
Give or
You're
take.
Right. Yeah, you're right. I mean, I wasn't working on it full time that whole time.
Yeah.
2008, 9. I'm probably more.
$24 million. Would that make you happy? Box office this weekend?
I'm not gonna bet a number.
Opening?
I'm not gonna bet a number. Don't make me bet a number.
If I told you today,
don't make me do it. Man.
I've got a crystal ball. The film brought in $24 million. Would you be jumping up and down?
Absolutely, sure.
You would be thrilled.
Yeah, but that's.
If I told
so
you,
would Hollywood.
if I told you the film brought in $10 million.
Yeah, man. This movie cost $3.
So that's all we need.
Yeah, it's a win, man.
If we make $10 million this weekend.
Oh, no, I don't want to bet a number, man.
You're a nervous fucking wreck, aren't you?
Well, yeah, maybe I'm superstitious. I don't know. Like, no good can come of this, Howard.
If you put 5 years of your life into something,
if I put 5 years of my life into something,
you want to see it pay off.
Yeah, but to me, the money it makes is not what's going to make it pay off or not.
Right.
That was never the intention of doing this. If I wanted to make maximum money, Don John is not necessarily. I would have made a horror movie. I would have, like, you know, produced a reality TV show or something.
Right.
You know, if I wanted to make maximum dough.
I think the movie will do well, and I will tell my fans I really did love it.
Thanks, man.
I really did. I think you did a great job.
Thank you. You thought it was funny?
I thought it was funny. I thought it was engaging, and I thought it was actually
awesome,
sweet.
Man.
At the end, I thought it was sort of romantic.
Thank you. Thanks, man.
You know, as romantic as a movie about a guy who jerks off all the time can be. And I
These
thought it
were
was
the
unusual.
notes you wanted to hit.
Yes, I thought it was an unusual film too, which is good.
I wanted to make something bold and take a risk. If I were gonna, you know, put all the work into making the movie, I wanted.
And I thought your directing was strong. You know what I mean? Like I didn't see any weird cuts or some kind of strange bullshit. You know what I mean? When you direct,
he
for the
looked
first
like
time,
he knew what he was doing.
Yeah.
Who do you rely on when you direct the first time? Because the first time you go in and do it, who's the DP? Is that the guy, the director?
Well,
of
you
photography?
rely on so many people, man. It's a collaborative process with the DP, the production designer, the editor, the music composer. So many people. You know, it's a
And
it's
how
a
do you
big
put that
collaborative
team
process.
together?
A lot of them are people that I knew. The producer had produced Brick and Looper, so he knows how to take a little amount of money and make it look like a bigger movie. The DP, I knew people from
Where'd you
different.
shoot that sucker? Because you got to go somewhere where it's cheap, right?
Mostly in L.A.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Is that where you live?
I'm from L.A. I was born and raised there.
Who do you hang with? I mean, and don't give me the dopey regular friends. I mean celebrities. That's what I want. Who's your hang? Yeah.
Who am I friends with?
Channing Tatum?
Chan is a friend of mine.
He's
We've
a good
done
dude?
3 movies together. He has a little cameo in Don John. He's really funny.
That's right.
Yeah, and he's a great dude. Yeah, definitely.
We like him.
Absolutely.
And you can party with him?
Sure. What do you mean by party?
Weed? Smoke weed?
I smoke a lot more weed than he does. He's not a big smoker, no.
You got medical marijuana?
I'm from California, dude. I grew up in L.A. in the Valley.
So you got that card where you can go into the store? And
I don't have a card, no.
Why not? You obviously have medical problems.
I should have a card. Clearly, I have all sorts of medical problems. I'm still stoned from last night, that chocolate I ate.
Is that, you like that better than drinking, smoking weed, huh?
They're two very different things. Drinking can be fun sometimes, but no, weed is more, I certainly do it more often.
I cannot smoke
Is it an everyday thing?
I go through phases sometimes where it's every day.
Yeah.
It's not every day these days.
Because I cannot smoke weed.
Yeah. Oh, no?
It's one of the great tragedies of my life.
That's too bad.
I've smoked weed many, many times, and I get insanely paranoid to the point that I'm no fun.
I pace around and have all sorts of good ideas. I was stoned when I first thought of Don John as a comedy.
Do you think marijuana can lead to like a more creative life? Is that one of the?
I think it's different for everybody, but certainly the way that I use it, I absolutely think it has a positive impact on my creative process.
The pot today is so strong.
It's super strong. You're right.
Strong.
You don't have to smoke that much.
Do you take one hit and you get off, or can you smoke a whole joint?
It depends on how much I'm smoking, you know?
Wow.
I mean,
I admire you.
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly not for everybody, and I definitely have friends for whom I would say it's a problem. But I also have friends that smoke quite a lot, and for them, it's not a problem.
Doing anything else? Coke, heroin, anything?
No, I don't like that stuff.
You don't? You stay away from anything heavy?
I tried cocaine once or twice and was like, I'm just not impressed. Like, I felt like I could make myself feel like this by myself. I don't need a drug for this.
It doesn't seem to do much. Really.
No, I was not impressed.
I don't understand the addiction to it.
I guess if you never get that feeling of like, okay, yeah, let's go get him, then and you need a drug to do it, I could see how that would be addictive. But I guess I'm just lucky that I give myself that feeling a lot. Like, especially with work, like. I remember the first time I tried cocaine, I was in the middle of doing a play. And every night, eight performances a week, right before you get on stage, you get this little rush.
Right.
You know? And I remember when I tried it for the first time, and I was like, this is kind of the same. Okay, so if you didn't have any other way in your life to give you that rush, I could see it becoming a problem. You start relying on this drug to give you that rush. But maybe I'm just lucky I found another thing in my life that gives that to me.
That's an interesting way of putting it, yeah. Maybe it's the absence of that rush that gets people into it.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Yeah, I
don't
agree
know,
with that.
but I don't like it. It's not comfortable. It tastes kind of shitty. I didn't like it.
I tell all the kids not to do it.
Yeah.
You know,
You're not supposed to eat cocaine.
No, but when you snort it up your nose, it gives you that taste in like the back of your throat. You know what I mean?
Acid?
Yeah. I like LSD.
You do. See, that's
I haven't done it very many times. It's so powerful. I've only done it a handful of times. But
that drug fucked me up.
Yeah. Did you do it right? You have to really take care and do it right.
I was by myself. I took a 4-way hit.
Oh, dude. Yeah, that's
that's why drugs are dangerous. They don't tell you. There's nothing.
There's no instructions.
That's if we're here talking about it on the radio, let me say, because I did just say that I have done LSD, and I even said that I liked it. And let me be really clear. You have to be very careful. It's extremely powerful.
It is.
And you should have someone who's not doing it. You should make sure that wherever you did get it is super trustworthy and someone you know has already taken a dose off it and been fine.
And who is doing that? Who does drugs?
Oh, you know what? I was a
Nobody's doing that.
I did a 4-way hit of blotter acid, and thank God I did have a friend who I don't think wants to be named, but I did have a friend who helped me out that night who was straight. And if I didn't have him, I think I would have lost my mind, honestly. And the guy I bought it from, he didn't say to me, hey, you're supposed to cut this up to 4 different people. You know what I mean? I didn't know what I was doing.
That's terrible. Yeah, it's dangerous. You have to be really, really careful.
It's the worst. It almost ruined my life. Well, how's a girl get to date you? Seriously, what do we have to do to hook up with you? Are you in a relationship now, or are you single?
I have a girlfriend, but I tend not to really like to talk about it in public.
In the business or out of the business? I see you as one of these guys. You have to have a girlfriend out of the business.
She is not in show business.
See? Yeah, what'd you meet her? Like you met her at a restaurant or something?
We have mutual friends. Yeah.
Got introduced?
She's we have lots of mutual friends.
You in love with her?
Oh, geez, man, come on.
Wow.
This is getting private. This is getting private.
How long you been with this broad?
I mean, now this is interesting because I don't want to like, why should we talk about the personal details of my relationship?
I'll tell you why. I'm going to give you a good reason.
Okay.
Why. Somebody once asked me this.
All right.
I'm in love with my wife.
Yeah.
I love this woman.
Okay.
There's no greater joy in my life than even like if we get invited out to an event, holding her hand, even if I have to walk on a red carpet, putting my arm around her, I get tremendous comfort from being with her.
Yeah.
So why all the secrecy? Like I've talked to people.
Well, maybe everybody isn't finding that, Howard.
Well, maybe not.
Let me give you a reason. Maybe you'll take this or not. So, but what you and I do is a little different. You get on the air and your performance is as Howard Stern yourself.
Okay.
I get up in movies and I play other people.
That's true.
So when the audience is watching me in movies, I don't want them thinking about me and who I'm dating and blah, blah, blah. I want them to see the character, the story that I'm telling. You know?
Why?
But also, maybe their relationship is developing, and they don't know where it's going to go, and they don't need this kind of scrutiny.
Right, how long have you been with this girl?
What did Robin just say? What did she just say?
I'll tell you why. I've got a relevant point to make. How long have you been with her? 6 months? A year?
What do you want me to? I don't like.
Wow.
I don't like disclosing details like this. I feel like
I don't get that. I still don't, because
what if she doesn't want those details? Does she?
She wants that. She wants you to come out publicly and scream out that you're in love with her.
I'm telling you now that that's not true, actually.
Well, what was she, the Vice President of the United States? She got a classified job. What is that? Are you crazy? Was she Sarah Palin?
Yes, Sarah Palin.
You're dating Sarah Palin.
We've been together for a good 6 months.
Look at you. I don't know, man. I don't get that whole thing. I'll watch a talk show and someone will walk out and go, "I can't talk about my relationship," and I'm like, fuck you. Just
no, but seriously, the girl that I'm with, she really doesn't want to be a part of that, and you can imagine not wanting to have that scrutiny.
No, I cannot imagine it.
You can't imagine.
Well, he's like a twin.
She's in love with you. And she's so proud to be in a relationship with you. And she's playing the game, too, that, Joseph Gordon-Levitt doesn't want me to say that I'm his girlfriend. So everyone's into the whole let's secrecy thing. Listen, you'll go over there, I'll go over there, we'll meet up later. It's a game. Just fuck her and just announce it to the world.
I actually don't think that's the case with this particular person.
It is.
The story you're telling is something I get, that certainly happens in life. That happens. But I think that's not true in this particular case.
All right, fair enough. I'll leave you alone with that.
I appreciate that.
The movie is called, I've seen this movie, and Joseph Gordon-Levitt's onto something. Not only I'm proud of this guy because he wrote the movie, he directed the movie, and he stars in the movie, and you made a good movie.
Thanks, man. You're being
funny.
So cool. I really appreciate it.
I'll tell you what. I'd tell you get the fuck out of here if I didn't think it was good. I really would. I never would have invited you in if I didn't like the movie.
Can I ask you something really quick?
Go ahead, anything.
The show...
I thought you were going to ask me if my cock was small.
No.
Most people want to know.
The TV... Was there... I have this memory of after Saturday Night Live, a long time ago, I would stay up... My brother would stay up and watch Saturday Night Live, and I have an older brother.
Right.
And if I could stay up late enough when I'm a little kid, after SNL, the Howard Stern show would come on NBC. Am I right?
Yeah. There were different incarnations. I did a show that you probably saw in California. It was for 2 years I did a show. It was like a sketch show.
Yeah,
Saturday Night Live type show. And it was out of the... We used to beat...
Wait, that was just local California?
It was local, and we were up against Saturday Night Live here in New York, and we beat them 3-1 in the ratings because it was an outrageous show. And I remember it. I wrote it with Fred and a guy named Jackie. The three of us wrote the whole thing pretty much. And we had... Some guys wrote other things, right? Fred, Mark Cronin did some writing.
Yeah, you had a few other guys there.
But we basically wrote the whole thing.
Because my brother would stay up late and watch that, and he would always, because I loved SNL, and he was like, nah, the cool thing to watch is the Howard Stern show after that.
Yeah, we were, and let me tell you something, that was a hell of a show. It burned me out, though. It was very hard to...
Too much.
I edited it with two guys in my basement.
Wow. See, I'm in the middle of making a TV show now.
Right. For who?
For this new cable channel called Pivot. You heard of this new channel?
No.
Yeah, there's a new channel. It's it just started in August.
Sketch show you're doing?
It's like a variety show. There'll be short films and songs and cartoons and short docs and stuff like that. Are you in it? Yeah, I host it and I'm directing it and I perform in it. And
How the hell do you have the time?
It's made collaboratively. We use the internet and people are contributing to these different pieces.
Oh, so you're not doing
This is what I've been doing. This is what I've been doing all year. I went straight from working on Don John to working on this TV show.
I'm just wondering if you shouldn't just cash in and do a couple of big movies.
I'm gonna do another movie soon enough.
What do you got lined up? Anything cool?
I don't have anything lined up yet.
Dude, what do we got to come up with a game plan for you. Don't fuck up. This is years to bank. You know what I'm saying?
You're right. You're right.
You're on fire. Let's do it.
Okay.
Well, let's ask the question. Wait a minute. He was a child star on a hit series. How much money did he make? Did he hold on to the money?
Yeah, I'm really lucky that my dad is really smart with money. and
they weren't looking to rip you off either.
Helped me. They were not. Exactly, because that happens or has happened.
Could the old man make a good living in working for Pacifica Radio doing news?
He stopped doing that when he had kids.
Yeah, I bet. You can't make a dime doing that.
He started a small business. He's a small business.
What's he do?
He makes technology and software for mini storage facilities.
You give them dough, or are you?
No. He has a small business with 20 employees, and he's had it for 20-something years. And now I'm starting a business. That's Hit Record is like my company, where I'm not just working for someone else.
For the man. I get it.
That's you, right? You're the man?
Oh,
you're doing pretty damn well with all this, man. Congratulations.
Yeah,
it's
but
crazy.
I work for people. I'm a worker. I'm like a blue collar, man. You go in, you get a paycheck.
That's not entirely true. You are more powerful than any of the corporate executives that run the companies. You're way more powerful than any of them.
I'm doing my thing.
Well, then why do they keep firing him?
But you're doing it on your own, though. That's cool. I really admire that you figured out a way to do like your show that was the best for you.
Right.
I admire that. I want to be able to do that as an artist and not just fit into the way that it's always done.
It ain't easy. The new movie, Don John, he directs it, he wrote it. I'm giving it a big thumbs up. You got to go see it, Robin. You'll love it.
Thanks, man.
I can't wait.
Thank you so much.
Wait.
Pleasure meeting you.
The pleasure was mine.
Hey,
buddy.
real good seeing you.
Likewise.
And,
likewise.
Yeah, and we'll be back right after these words.
Joseph, since you've been acting since you were very young,
yes,
you've done various press junkets and interviews over the years. How is this separate from all the others?
This feels like a conversation. It felt like I met this guy who I know him from his work, and he knows me from my work, and we had never met each other, but we got to know each other a bit. And man, super friendly, generous dude. He's really, really nice. I care a lot about this movie that I've made, and for him to tell everybody who's listening that he really likes it, and for him to clearly mean it, meant a lot. That meant a lot to me.
And now that you are a filmmaker, what do you think is so interesting about Howard's character? What draws people in? What makes him?
That he's honest. That is completely it. That what the conversation he and I just had was an honest conversation. Two guys like getting to know each other. That's interesting to listen to. Most interviews that you hear in the press or whatever, they're not two people just talking and getting to know each other. There's some agenda, there's some show that's being put on, there's, whatever, some kind of preconceived routine or whatever. This was legitimately just a conversation. He and I sat down and talked for an hour. And I think that's interesting to listen to because it feels real, it feels honest.
Absolutely. Well, good luck with Don John. Thanks so much.
Now it's going to cause the whole, more fucking bullshit or whatever. I'd rather, to take it and not deal with it than to have to deal with it and then have it fucking be this big thing.
So why was today different?
I don't know. It's just, I don't know how it got brought up, but it got brought up.
Grant in Toronto, you're on the wrap-up show.
Hey, guys.
Hey, Grant.
Love the show. I'm in CD's camp, and I'm frustrated for him. And I think the problem with JD is his upbringing with his dysfunctional family. So I think that's the root of probably his problem. And I think Jason, I don't know how, this is my opinion. I love the show, but I don't like Jason. I think he's living in the closet. I think he's got big issues. And I think JD's the man. So, I don't know. Do you think Jason's, do you think he's living in the closet, guys?
No. I don't. I mean, I talk to him all the time. I mean,
you wouldn't fit in a closet.
I'm leaving. No, I mean, I thought there's a baby. There's a bunch of things you could say about Jason.
Great effect. Call me a baby again, Jason. Thank you. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Jerry in Tampa, you're on the wrap-up show.
I'll wait for you to cry.
Who you look for?
Hey, Jerry.
Hey, does anybody? Is it me or does Jason sound like Fozzie Bear?
Oh, I definitely think I sound like Fozzie Bear. I hate my voice, and I look like him too. Trust me, it's a that and Grimace are the two comparisons I hate the most because they're true, and there's nothing I can say about them.
Well, you're still in there. I thought you left. Here's what I got to say.
No,
you're an instigating
he ain't going anywhere.
What's up?
You're an instigating motherfucker. Is what your problem is.
Something.
And I hope that one day you choke on a fucking hamburger on this stupid show you and John Hine do.
Hey, easy there, Jerry. John got shot.
It's a stupid show. Trust me.
All right, thank you, Jerry. For
so I'm an
that out.
instigator, but this guy hopes I die on a fucking hamburger. Listen, if I'm gonna go, dying on the cheeseburger is on the list.
Hey, can I ask Jason a question?
Make sure you do it on our stupid show, Jason.
Jason, you definitely grew up on the show.
Oh, my God.
We talk about it all the time.
Oh,
like,
my
Jason,
God.
Jason, I was talking about this with John the other day. Like, he was raised, his formative years were spent listening to the show.
All my years.
So do you sometimes see it as almost like your duty to fill the role left by the Stuttering John role?
What I find that I think I have a different take on this stuff than other people do is that I just find enjoyment in it. I don't go out of my way to say, oh, I'm going to fuck with somebody today to rile things up. But when things like this do happen, even with this thing with me and JD, which is real and it's going to be awkward once we're off the air, but I see the fun in it. I see the excitement in it. They have a new Howard behind the scenes show coming out where they talk about throwing people under the bus. And I always compare how I feel to Boston Rob on Survivor, that first season he was on, where he was lying to everybody, and he turns around like, guys, we're playing a game here. Like, what the fuck? We're playing a game.
Yeah, but what's the game?
The game is that we're doing an entertainment show, and this is part of what comes working here. And trust me, I take my own lumps a ton. I get called a ton of names. I hold my own in arguments. I don't go running behind anyone's back and trying to get somebody. Listen, I get a ton of shrapnel around here, and I feel I handle it well for myself, and I certainly don't see why everyone gets all bent out of shape. I mean, what are we doing here? We work back here. We all know what the show is. The show's been on for 30 years. This is what happens. Shit happens in the office and it gets on the air. I don't see anything wrong with it. It's what we're doing here.
I always tell people when they are contemplating having some kind of issue with Jason, they should always think twice, because he will always have the last word. And you got to really say to yourself, is it worth going down this road? Because it's going to bring on a lot more trouble than it's worth.
But I'm glad. I want people to get to my very large, wide road and hesitate putting a foot on it. I love that.
Here's my thing with Jason. You seem to me, and I've said it before, you seem to get joy out of hurting people. It's not just a joke. It's like, I want to hurt this person. And maybe some people are more charming about the way they do it. Maybe they do the same thing. I don't know.
When I feel personally attacked, like when I got in a fight with Ross Zapin or when I got in a fight with Scott DePace, yeah. I mean, once we started going down that road where things were getting personal, yeah, I wasn't gonna. I would have ripped their throats as if I could have. I will go for the killer. It's just shit with me and JD. Yeah, I mean, listen, if you say making fun of his chins and his beard is hitting below the belt, fine, but I just don't see it that way.
And Benji, you're not really a good indication, because I would say of anybody on the show, Benji's the last person that will ever come to me and say, did you see what so-and-so was wearing, or did you hear this about so-and-so? You never do that.
I tend not to.
You should do it more, because that's what we do.
Yeah, right? Thank you. Thank you.
But it's just not Benji's thing.
Well, look how many chins this guy has.
You can't. He's got that horrible beard over it. See, now we're working.
So this will make things very comfortable in the back office. Although, frankly, this has been going on for months.
This is nothing new.
Yeah, this isn't new.
Yeah. I don't think years.
No,
JD,
it has been going on for years.
How come you guys didn't tell me this?
Because, you know, I'll tell you, JD, you can speak for yourself, obviously, but I would say from my perspective, like I said earlier in the show, I denied it for years. Like, I'm just like, oh, you know, JD's just in a bad mood, or oh, he's just pissy with me today, or oh, whatever. So and then recently I just woke up to the fact that no, you know, just everything I say pisses him off, and that's just the end of it.
There are lots of relationships that swirl in the back office that are not concrete enough to say, okay, this is A, B, and C, and why they don't like each other. They're just feelings that come and go, and sometimes they swell up and it overflows like you see today.
There are times where I can deal with Jason, where I can I don't know, we can talk or whatever. And, you know, there are more times where it's like how it is today. And that's, you know, I just try to be civil. That's all I try to do.
Yeah. See, the only time JD and I have never gotten in a fight, like hanging out outside of work, like at a bar or at a party or wherever. Like this only happens. I'll tell you exactly. The one time that really broke the straw that broke my back was we were in the studio during a commercial break. And somebody's tooling on JD about something, and he's sitting there and he's laughing and blah, blah, blah. And then I made a comment, and he fucking just turns stone-faced, and he storms out into the hall, and I'm like, oh, what the hell? And he's all mad at me. And it's those moments. It's the moments here on the wrap-up show, the moments in the studio, the moments in the hallway where I seem to piss JD off and where he gets super angry about it. This isn't happening, like, at lunch. Unless I don't know about it, which is possible.
He got really angry when you posted something on Twitter about him stalking that 30 Rock chick.
2 weeks in a row. We have two female guests or whatever. 2 weeks in a row, he has to go on Twitter and tweet, oh, JD sounds like a fucking creep again. JD creeping out the guests. Creep, you know, and hashtag creep. It's like, what the fuck?
I hashtag the name of the show, the John Hines Show. But
you know, can I think,
you had to hit me with that?
The most interesting,
and I have never tweeted, Jason's on a wrap-up show talking about bullshit no one cares about.
The most interesting part of this whole thing for me is that
Should tweet that.
The visual of this, what's going on right now, much like Mike and the Mad Dog Show, although these two guys are 5 feet apart in direct line of sight, they haven't looked at each other in 20 minutes.
Yeah, they won't look at each other.
Well, JD's hard to see.
I'm not looking at anyone.
That's when you know you have a good fight. Tim, you're on the wrap-up show.
JD.
Yes.
JD, if I was there, I'd have your back. I get tired of this fat fuck on the wrap-up show. Here's the problem. Number one, he's a tattletale little gossiping little bitch. He used to run around with all the women, Robin's little parties. He's just like a bitch. He tells. He hates your celebrity, JD. He hates the fact that you have more Twitter fans. He hates the fact that you're an Apple and Howard guy. He's resentful of Baba Booey's fame. He's a wannabe, and he picks on people, and he talks like he has a fucking cock in his mouth. And I hate hearing him on the fucking radio. And if I was there, I'd bitch slap him every time he said the word JD. And that would be the end of it, JD. I just wish I could be there.
Yeah, man, this guy should be here to hit me for you.
Yeah,
dude.
you better believe
do it, dude. You're so tough. Yeah, come up here.
I'm going to quit listening to the wrap-up show.
Do it.
Keep having this fucking orb on there.
Hey, Tim, don't take it out on us.
Yeah, what did Gary do?
Keep listening. Now, Jason, other than sounding like you have a penis in your mouth.
I currently have a penis in my mouth.
But what about what he said? Is there some type of jealousy in terms of like JD becoming Howard's favorite or, Gary's notoriety? Or
No, the only thing that he said that rang true besides the cock in my mouth was I'm insanely jealous of Gary and his career and his outside opportunities. No, I know. I know that sounds crazy. Trust me, there are other people around here who do shit that I am jealous of and don't think that they deserve some of the things they get. But JD,
did you name them?
You got another hour on the show?
Just did, believe me.
But JD is certainly not one of them. I'm excited for all things JD, and I'm certainly not jealous of his Twitter followers, except for the fact that I would like more Twitter.
Do you want to take up bowling? What are you telling me here?
Yeah, well,
after they decided not to play beer pong together, did you guys talk that day after that tournament?
After the tournament, I was bombed. Yeah, no, we've talked since.
Well, what happened? I don't know about this.
So we always throw these beer pong tournaments. It's like an annual event,
right?
And they've been partners for what 5-6 years probably.
Every year we've done it. Yeah.
And this year they had a conversation where they said we are no longer going to be partners.
Well, who
that was a pretty big step.
So who decided that they didn't want to be the other's partner?
Well, it probably started with me, I guess. First of all, we've sucked in all the tournaments anyway. But
we did win one. We did win one.
We won one. But that's he started calling me a creep on Twitter or whatever, and I was just like, do I really want to play beer pong with someone that's gonna fucking go on Twitter and call me creep and
by the way,
like
can
that?
we go get this stupid Twitter? I didn't call JD a
Hold
creep.
on, yes you did. Second after he broke up, I didn't say anything to anyone. He's the one going to meetings announcing just hold on everyone, let me make an announcement. Me and JD are no longer beer pong players.
That is true. I saw that firsthand.
I mean, what the fuck was that? I was waiting for a news story to happen.
I would love to know, and you got to walk me through this, like the whole mechanics of the whole thing. So do you sit him down and say, listen, I don't want to be partners with you, and does he ask why?
No,
we both sort of. I think we.
I know mutual breakups aren't real things, so I will say JD instigated this. But once we announced the beer pong tournament, in my head I was like, I don't think JD and I are going to be partners because we weren't really on each other's favorite lists at the moment. And so JD, about 3 days before the tournament, or maybe a week before JD came into the office, he's like, "Let's talk about beer pong." I go, "Yeah," and he goes, "Yeah." So the team, I'm like, "Yeah," and I don't know who said it first. JD certainly instigated it, but it wasn't a long conversation.
Jim in Carolina, you're on the wrap-up show.
You know, JD, you've been acting like an 8-year-old baby lately, man. Where do you think you work?
Thank you.
Where do you think
I'm
you work?
a baby. Okay. I know where I fucking work, dickhead.
Well, let me ask everybody else a question. Do you think there's a possibility that JD, if the show ends in a few years, will turn out to be a bigger loser than like Grillo?
No.
I think that JD has a career ahead of him. Again, I always say JD, his biggest issue is selling himself, but JD has a very specific talent that I think he's very good at. I think that he can utilize that somewhere else.
JD's got like 12 movies written in his head right now. He'll be fine.
Grillo's got a wife and stuff, though. JD's not going one solid relationship with a woman. He's 30 years old.
JD, you want to answer that?
What did he say?
He said you haven't had a solid relationship in 30 years.
I'm a fucking loser. Leave me alone, Dick. What do you want?
I mean, you're on the Howard Stern show, man. You should be getting laid every week.
I know. Okay, you come be me. You see how it is.
JD, I asked Gary this question before about Eric. I'll ask you the same thing. What you know Jason, you know his MO. Why do you let him get under your skin?
I don't know. I tried to leave, and then I get called a baby. So I try not to engage in this, play the game. But, then I get called a baby for not playing the game. So I'm trying to play the game. That's all I'm trying to do.
JD, is this relationship repairable?
I don't know.
Here's my question.
I really have. I don't know.
I mean, do you have any interest?
Right now, no. No.
Yeah, right. Question for Jason though. You say you care about your relationship with JD, and that you're upset that he doesn't like you. Right? Am I right with that?
But to a certain degree.
But when you see that he's clearly upset, and then you throw that line out there, I mean, it's funny. But you have 12 movies in your head. Kicking him in the balls basically when he's on the ground. Well,
there's a couple things going on. Number one, I did feel that way until recently, where I just got the thing that frustrated me when it came to JD was I didn't feel I could act like myself around him, because acting like myself would make him genuinely angry. So so there's that. And we're on the air right now. He's pissed at me. He won't even look over here. We're sitting here arguing with each other. So I'm going to take jabs when I can take jabs. I mean, I don't see him reaching over to shake my hand and say, hey, let's put this behind us and be friends. So what am I going to do? So
he's just going to keep digging a bigger hole.
I have come to JD on so many occasions and said, like, hey, man, are you pissed at me about something? Can we talk about this? Or blah, blah, blah. After so we've worked together 7 years, like it's enough, enough already. It's just enough. So no, I guess to answer your question, I don't care.
Is this worse than Jared, JD?
Ooh.
I don't know.
At least Jared was hot.
Not necessarily.
It's always harder when the guy's that's hammering you is good looking.
I never really hung out with Jared, and I just never. We were not.
Oh, so
we were not like.
Jared and Jason at a beer pong tournament. Who's your partner?
I'd rather have Jason than Jared.
Ooh. Nice.
Progress.
The window's open. I'm going to be nicer to JD.
Wow.
Window is open. That's because in his heart, he knows I can't fuck penthouse pets like Jared does, and that's what keeps us level. That's what keeps us even.
F Jared.
F Jared. Damn right.
On Wednesday's wrap-up show, all the talk was about Scott the engineer and this mess of a block party, which he, I guess, created. We talked about Scott, whether he was telling the truth, what happened at bowling, and how Scott feels about all this. And, of course, Scott hemmed and hawed and changed his story and let us know what's going on. And, frankly, we still don't know. Anyway, see if you can make sense of it.
I've heard a lot of rumblings, Gary, in the back, that Scott the engineer is not being truthful when it comes to some of these topics surrounding the block party, ranging from his reasons why he's not doing it to the thing with the hamburger guy to the meet and greet, and it seems like he's being rather evasive.
I believe that to be true. I think that Scott's got a couple things going on, but Scott's got 1,000 things going on. But sometimes he doesn't want to look like a fool on the air. That's one thing. There's, one of the things we need to talk about at some point is Scott isn't just Scott. There's Team Scott. There's a lot of people involved in what goes on in Scott's decision.
What does Team Scott consist of?
Scott's family.
Okay.
And so there's that. He's dealing with that. So there's a lot of different things going on. Why are we all laughing? Is he running down the hall?
Yes. No, but that's with anybody. I mean, whenever you make a decision, even JD, I know is single, but a lot of times he thinks about what his moms think, what his dad thinks. Like that goes into, when you think about what you're doing on the air, you think about your wife and kids, as do I. I'm sure that affects Scott's decision making. But Scott, a lot of people are saying that you're bullshitting some of these answers. And
what?
One of the things that JD was very adamant.
What am I bullshitting?
JD, we'll get to all of them, but JD was very adamant today that you stayed at the meet and greet for 10 minutes tops, and you say 40 minutes tops, and that's a huge discrepancy.
That's a wide berth, my friend.
I would say at least a half hour. At least.
JD? You might be willing to go to 15, but that's it, right?
Yeah, listen.
JD, you were there. Don't back off.
I was there. Well, listen, all I know is I was taking pictures left and right.
So was I.
Okay. Yeah, for a few minutes. I saw you for a few minutes. And then next thing I know, I'm looking around, and I can't find Scott anywhere.
I was easily there half hour.
Okay. Whatever.
And what's
I'll give you a half hour at the maximum, but I was there over like an hour, maybe an hour and a half. Like people were done or tired of talking to me. I was just standing around.
No, I feel like that. I left before you guys. I admit that. But I already had told Shuli the lot that I was parked in closed at 1:30. and it was after 1 already, so I wanted to make sure I can get my car out.
But Scott, here's the thing: just in general terms, you crafted this thing with Shuli
And I was
as a way to make money and get out there and do appearances.
With him. We were sitting around, and I said, "Are there any ideas that you have?" And
where you can make money?
Yeah, I mean,
that's craft.
I didn't craft
that's
the whole thing. I didn't.
You instigated. You basically said, "Shuli, you can make the sentence up however you want." But what Shuli heard was, "Hey, I'd like to make some money. How can we do that?"
So he builds this block party, and now you're backing out of some dates. And
just one weekend. I've done every other one.
Now, did we ever get to the bottom of what the family thing is that is keeping?
It was a wedding. Yeah, we said
it's a
that
wedding.
on the air. So,
but that was a prior commitment. You said. Now, did you tell him about that months ago, or did you just?
I thought I said when he first said Chicago. I said I don't think I could do that weekend.
But you also said, or he said, that this was a negotiate. Like if your number got doubled, let's say, all of a sudden that commitment goes away.
Believe me, I'm not that smart.
Well, you know what? I want to get right down to brass tacks because Mutt sort of brought this up, and everybody in the office was talking about it. What did you mean when you said, try doing Ronnie's block party without Scott the engineer?
No, I didn't say that.
That's exactly what you said.
Teddy, play clip number 1.
No, all right.
If there's just more money there, then it wouldn't be a problem being out. Yeah, so do I, and I can't because I'm paying you guys an arm and a fucking leg.
Well, who the fuck do you think is coming there because of our guys? They're not going to see you.
Oh, you think so? They're coming to see you with a fucking cell phone on your lap like a jerk off?
Try doing the show without Ronnie or me.
I've been doing shows without Ronnie and you.
So go ahead.
And Ronnie, and in all fairness,
he put it together for you.
And in all fairness, I'm scared that you're going to fucking walk away from the block party show.
Why am I being busted
because I'm
being busted because you busted his balls. I remember you busted his balls.
No, I didn't bust his balls.
You were like, "Can I get some money?" And then you get angry when everyone's making appearances and you're not involved.
His balls.
All right, two topics there.
Here's try doing the shows without me and Ronnie because me and Ronnie are able to promote a lot easier than he is. We have, in other words, we have our plugs and. People want to see people directly from the show.
What I heard that as, Shuli, you're not going to have a show with a big crowd unless Ronnie and I are there. Did you guys hear it?
It sounded very threatening.
Well, not only that, there was no mention of anything that had to do with plugs in that rant. That's for sure.
No, I'm just explaining what I meant by that.
It was a great moment in the back office, by the way. We were all listening, and when you said that, everybody just went, "Whoa!"
Wait, if you didn't have me and Ronnie, both of us together, I wasn't talking about just me alone or him alone or something. Obviously, we can do it without. What would the reaction be to it?
Scott, I've been touring long before I set this up with you guys.
Yeah, but you're not. Listen, I think this is. I don't know if the word is misnomer or whatever. You're not doing it as a charity for Scott.
What do you mean I'm not doing it for a charity for Scott? I never said I was. He wanted to make money. I want to make money.
Yeah, but you guys are acting like you make this big sacrifice so Scott can get work. It works for both.
Everybody's making money.
No. I know. Hold on. I get what you're saying because I was going to bring that up. Certainly, Shuli's selling more tickets with those guys. So it's not a big sacrifice.
Right,
however, Shuli's doing all the work for Scott. And Scott is giving him a hard time about it when Scott was the one who said, "I want to do this."
And not only that, Benji, not only that, Scott will be the first to tell you that he doesn't have a ton to do on these shows. Am I right? I'm not saying you do nothing.
You're right.
I'm just saying, compared to the grand scheme of things, you don't have a lot to do on this show. And what he gets paid for what he does, in my opinion, this is just my opinion, you should be happy with it. You have nothing to bitch about.
Isn't that every business negotiation? Like, leave out the fact if they're negotiating the wrong way, but it's every business negotiation is, hey, I would like this much, and you say yes or no.
That's fine, and I'm fine with that, Benj, but don't blow smoke up my ass, and don't tell me I can't make this date because of a commitment for something else, and then the next day, I say, are you in or are you out? And he says, well, if there was just more money.
Well, sure, that's the question. I mean, speaking of negotiation, Scott's saying he had a prior commitment or whatever. Now, you're saying that, well, if the money was a little bit more, I don't know if that commitment's going to exist.
What happened was this show, Hartford and Stamford, Connecticut weekend, was maybe 3 weeks away, a month away, maybe more. Scott came to me and said, I don't think I'll be able to do that weekend. Now, I'd already heard that Ronnie wasn't available for that weekend because he's with Howard. So I said, Scott, I really need to know if you can do this or not because Ronnie's out and I may have to just cancel this show. And he says, okay, I'll let you know tomorrow.
Was that a negotiating ploy on your part?
No, you know what? It was the possibility of me bowling this last week, and I knew that it was going to be a lot on my schedule. And it was a lot. And quite frankly, I was exhausted this weekend. But I knew that Ronnie, when I found out Ronnie wasn't going, I'm like, all right, I'm in. It wasn't a fact that I was trying to negotiate for more money and threatening him.
But you say that, but the very next day, it had nothing to do with a commitment, a family. What you came to me when I said, Scott, are you in or are you out? You said, if there was just more money. And I turned around and I was pissed. Man.
I think what Shirley's saying is, and Benji, to go back to your point, if you complete your dates and you want to renegotiate, that's one thing.
Right.
But don't renegotiate dates you've already agreed to.
I agree with that. I think that'd be a little bitchy or whatever to like when you already have a commitment. But Scott's saying he didn't do that.
But that's exactly what Shirley's saying he did do.
Let's
if there were only more money.
I want to ask Scott now. Now, Shirley is saying
if I conveyed that to you that it was a threat that I wanted more money, or I wouldn't do the show.
It wasn't a threat. I'm not saying you threatened me. I'm just saying
you're saying by asking for more money, he meant he wanted more money.
He told me one thing one day, and it was something completely different the next day.
All right, hold on. Before everybody makes
maybe
up,
I conveyed it to you wrong. I didn't want to have it come out that way.
Let's go to Aaron in Connecticut. Aaron, you're on the wrap-up show.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. I was at the block party in Hartford. I went to the Late Show, and my friend and I were so pumped to see Scott and to see everybody. And Scott walked out, said nothing, pressed a couple buttons that, made a couple Ronnie sound bites, and got off the stage.
So you got the full Scott experience.
There you go.
Yes, he didn't do anything.
I introduced JD. We did.
JD, I saw you in the hallway. I introduced myself and my friend Colette to you. You were awesome. Everybody was phenomenal, but Scott did nothing, and we were so bummed.
Well, wait a second, Aaron. Did Scott just saying that he introduced JD? Did you see that?
Scott went up and he didn't talk anything. He didn't say anything into the microphone.
Yeah, he introduced me.
Scott, it seems like you're doing the minimal amount of work possible at these gigs.
I'm doing what is required of me to do.
I do have to say, those pictures of you sitting in the chair, even though I know they're still photos, are a fucking riot.
Get it.
You're practically sleeping.
Okay. You got to see him high-fiving people through the crowd. This one guy hit his hat right off his head.
But Aaron, did you enjoy it?
I did enjoy it, but we wanted to hear Scott say something because he always has something interesting to say. It's funny. He's got a good sense of humor, and he was just mute, and we were like, oh.
I didn't want to get in JD's way. He was. I didn't want to make him nervous. I didn't want to, step on him. He was. He had some things planned, and I just let that unfold.
And Scott's good like that. He doesn't get in people's way unless there's pay, and then he will stiff-arm anybody to get to the front of that line.
Thanks for calling in, Aaron. Scott, what happened with this hamburger? Because I'm hearing mixed stories about this, too, that you kind of...
I've got eyewitnesses that said you flew off the handle. Even though you waited for your hamburger patiently, and they were a little slow.
Eyewitness Lee? Lee wasn't there.
It doesn't matter. What happened?
I think John Lieberman said he spoke to the guy. He interviewed the guy.
I told you what happened. I got annoyed.
But did you yell at him?
I raised my voice. Who decides whether I don't think I yelled, but I did raise my voice. I was angry.
You can see the vein popping out of his head right now.
I was angry.
What's the difference between raising your voice and yelling?
Well, I was.
I mean, but you have to take a step back for it. You're yelling at a guy who's serving burgers at a bowling alley, who's almost your age. So,
he's one notch above the guy who's spraying the shoes at the bowling alley.
They got the order, is what happened.
Oh, is that what happened?
Well, no, in Scott's defense, he said, if you give me a little more money.
If you don't charge me for the burger, I won't yell at you. No, they forgot the order because when I went up to him the first time, after 15 or 20 minutes, he took the slip and went back into the kitchen and came back and said, oh, that'll be ready in a few minutes. When people already... after me online had gotten their food and eaten and left. So
no, I got that, but
that's why.
Do you think? But I mean, I don't know how it's going to get your burger there fast. I never yell at people who take my food.
Were you suspicious at all? You were being fucked with, or was it just purely like frustration?
No, I don't think I was being fucked with. I just think people were incompetent.
John Lieberman, you have an eyewitness.
Yeah, I spoke to the cafeteria worker, if you will. He would not go on the record, but just to clear up a couple things. He was definitely in his 60s. He was an elderly, not old, but a more elderly gentleman. He looked a little frail, and he told me that Scott raised his voice with him and that there was nothing he could do because there were a lot of people there, and perhaps Scott's order got lost. But what?
I don't think I was wrong here. I mean, if
you're not wrong to be mad, but I think yelling. I think I ain't going to make it come any quicker.
I didn't yell.
The guy was startled. The guy was startled at the way that Scott handled it. Probably because it's this little man, and he just didn't. He didn't expect this coming from a quote unquote professional bowler.
That's right.
Did he know who Scott was?
I was having a little anxiety, and I wanted to get to the meeting on time. I didn't want to screw that up.
Scott told the guy roll call. That's what he remembered. I think you said something like, "I got to get to roll call."
Yeah, I had to be somewhere.
And the guy wasn't sure what roll call was, but he just knew he damn well better get Scott's hamburger,
that's right,
or something bad was going to happen.
When I think of the evolution of the show, right, and I think like we used to always, before the internet and before cell phones, we always had tattletales. I never imagined in my wildest dreams that there would be a guy whose sole job would be to follow Scott to the hamburger stand and report on it.
You can't get
at the bowling event. At the bowling event,
you can't get away with anything. I mean, it's unbelievable.
All right, Scott.
Now I know what JD means by
Scott.
you can't have a private life.
Bottom line,
yeah.
Do you want to do this block party anymore or no?
Of course, I want to do the block.
With
party.
what conditions?
Listen, Shuley promised me. He said Hartford would be a good weekend because we had very little overhead. There were no flights. There were no, and Ronnie agrees. There were no flights. The overhead was down. And by the way, you owe me gas money.
Ronnie doesn't agree with anything. Okay, here's the bottom line on the block party now. Okay, we're taking this thing to a whole new level now. All right.
Wait.
We're taking it to a whole new level. Whoever's in on the train,
I'm in.
Gets on the train.
That's right.
The last stop is right here, 48th Street. You don't like it? Get off the train.
There's several layers to what I'm about to tell you. So, the Shuley, comedy show continues on the road. Scott can't make it to Arizona and Chicago, and I said, "Why not?" Shuley goes, "You'll have to ask him. I have no idea. I don't know why Scott can't make it." So, Shuley went to JD and said, "Do you want to fill in?" And he goes, "We're gonna have to renegotiate." And Shuley's like, "Renegotiate? You're on stage for 4 minutes." He goes, "You know that comic that you introduced that got 3 standing ovations? You made 10 times more than him."
You know what, Scott and JD, I think they all think it's fun to go out and do these things.
And then
they realize it's work, and then they're like,
But he did say, but Shuley did say that it was really weird because JD, the one thing he wanted to know, like way in advance, was what hotel they were staying in. Meaning he had it set up with that girl.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, he had dreams.
Hey, Lisa G is here. I haven't spoken to her in like ages. Lisa G, come on in and tell us what's happening in the Howard 100 newsroom.
Lisa Glassberg takes
There's Lisa.
Hello there.
Came in laughing. Having a good time. All right.
Wearing this jacket, you start to sweat after 10 minutes.
Right. Go ahead, Lisa. What do you have for us from the Howard 100 newsroom?
All right. So where do Ralph Cirella's allegiances lay? The issue came up.
Lie.
That's what I thought, but
Go ahead.
I think grammatically it may be lay.
Evidently, you don't pay attention to my grammar. But go ahead.
The issue came up after Ralph told you he was too sick to fly to San Francisco for America's Got Talent
Is
late
that
last
true?
week. But
Now, here was the thing. I wanted to bring Ralph with me.
Yeah.
We discussed it. He called me up, and he did the right thing. He says to me, hey, you could hear it. He could hardly talk. I said, I don't want to be around anyone who's got a cold. I don't want to be around anybody, quite frankly. The less people on that plane, because the plane circulates air. I don't know what the fuck anyone's got, and sometimes people don't know what they got.
Right.
I'm looking to stay healthy for this stupid gig I'm doing. So he called me up. He's got no voice. He goes, "You still want me to come?"
There's something going around because a lot of people have had it.
Right. So I said no, and thank you for calling me and making me aware that you're not feeling well. I didn't really need him to come. He had already put together the outfit and all that, and it's not all that complicated.
So what are you saying, Lisa?
Well, he showed up Friday to host Geek Time.
Yeah. Well, that's fine. He would have come with me. He said, I'll come. He says, I just know you're paranoid about germs and stuff. And I said, thank you. Don't come. It wasn't a matter of loyalty.
Did he look sick?
I didn't see him. I was away.
He was sick. Believe me. He was sick. And quite frankly, it was fine. Even like I'm going to St. Louis, I said, I don't need anyone going with me. I don't need a babysitter.
You're not taking Tony?
No, Tony, I need it. I fucking hair of mine. I don't know how to do it. I'm going out tonight. I need fucking help with my hair all the time. Tony always goes with me.
Yeah.
Tony takes care of it, and that's it. My hair, I don't know.
It needs its own person.
I know. I was actually contemplating like getting a manly haircut, like
something that doesn't require styling.
Yeah, because
like what?
I mean, like a man.
What do you mean? Something short and spiky?
Like what men do. Like I'm the only guy walking around with a bouffant. Every other guy walks around with like a normal haircut. You know what I mean? But I don't have the balls to do it. I've always had long hair. And I've cut it about as short as I'll cut it.
Yeah, it's even shorter now.
Yeah. That's about it for me.
This is the length.
Ralph thinks I should grow it a little longer. He thinks it's a little too short since it doesn't hide enough.
Hide?
Yeah. Hide aspects of my face. That's what I use my hair for. Let's be honest. If I put enough of it in my face, you can't really. It's a mystery.
God.
You're kind of like, hey, he doesn't look so bad. That's always been my move. That was Joey Ramone's move. When I look like him. Joey always had hair hanging in front of his face.
You do not look like Joey Ramone.
I don't know.
Do you have nice ears? I've never seen those.
I have nice ears. Yeah. People I have stuff that's nice that you don't need to be nice. I have like probably the prettiest feet a man's ever had.
Yeah.
I have gorgeous ears. Like all this shit you don't care about. Like I'd rather be a super hot guy who looks like Brad Pitt and have like the ugliest, feet.
And ears.
And like deformed feet. My feet are Brad Pitt, which is so weird. It's just so, it's like the worst joke, practical joke anyone can play on you to have beautiful feet. And like I'll be hanging out with girls and go, oh yeah, you have really pretty feet. And I'm like, yeah. So now you're going to sleep with me? No.
Every woman I've interviewed about you says you have gorgeous feet.
Yeah, feet.
They're beautiful. He could have been a foot model.
Yeah, like my feet are so hot.
He's
I could be a
supermodel of feet.
I could be a professional foot model. Like, you ever see like a soap, like the guys in the shower and he's soaping up? Like, they would cut to my feet.
Right.
And like, and by the way, that's nice. Women look at stuff like that when if they see a guy with gnarly feet, they don't want to be with him. But
right, because it sort of indicates a hygiene situation.
But it's just. I'd rather have like chimpanzee feet, like literally,
like
chimpanzee,
another species,
like another species, and look like Brad Pitt.
Maybe Brad Pitt does have chimpanzee feet.
Right.
You hope, but it's really funny how watching the Oscars.
Yeah.
It was almost embarrassing because it's like they are performing. The whole show is just for George Clooney and Brad Pitt.
Yeah, because what does the camera go to? George Clooney and Brad Pitt.
Every time you need a reaction.
Those guys are like kings.
Brad, George, Brad, George. The rest of the people aren't even there.
Yeah, and if you just date George Clooney, like Stacy Keibler now.
Camera.
Stacy Keibler is considered the princess of America.
Everybody knows her. Everybody defers to her.
Yeah.
And her fees doubled.
Yeah. She gets something like $25,000 or something to appear anywhere.
Wow.
Said that in the paper. Like she used to get like $5,000 or something, or 10.
Yeah. Now you have to get in line.
I was at the Beverly Hills Hotel. I saw her holding a power meeting at a table, like literally, like with people just having business proposals.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah. I want to go out with George.
Well,
Clooney.
I hope she strikes gold. Before he dumps her.
Well, maybe he's in love. Maybe this time he won't.
Yeah, right.
Oh, you guys! Don't you believe in love?
Not with George Clooney. And Brad.
Yeah. I mean, like before dating George Clooney, she was actually hosting Ronnie's block party. She was filling in for Ronnie. Did you hear about the whole Ronnie's block party thing?
No.
Ronnie's block party, Scott and Ronnie go out, and then they go out with all these comedians like Shuley and stuff. And Shuley's got a real act; he's a real comedian, and these other guys are real comedians. So I guess, Ronnie's been traveling with me for America's Got Talent.
Yeah.
So they had JD fill in, and everyone was thrilled with JD, I guess, at the show. And,
that's wonderful.
Yeah, and Scott the engineer, I guess, has been going, but they have two big dates coming up, one in like Arizona and another one far away. And I think Scott's like bailing out on it because it's too far for him, and everyone thinks he's doing a negotiating ploy.
Oh, no, he wants more money?
Yeah, he was like, I think I need a lot more money. Because I think he figured out when he goes far away.
West of the Mississippi, my fees doubled.
And, like, no one is looking. I mean, who's Scott? First of all, J.D. could so easily replace Scott, because if you have a choice between Ronnie's Block Party and seeing J.D. or Scott, don't you want a J.D.?
Look, I think all these guys are wonderful. But if you give me the choice, I would say JD is a novelty, yes.
Hey, Shuley, there was one picture somebody tweeted at Ronnie's Block Party. It looked at one point like Scott was asleep on the stage. Yeah, right, Shuley.
He might as well be.
Yeah, what's going on with the whole, like, Ronnie didn't show up, JD was there, and from what I'm hearing, everyone liked JD at Ronnie's Block Party.
I got to tell you, there was, first of all, it was our first weekend that was sold out with this tour.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Right, and there was an energy when JD did these shows this weekend that we didn't have. We've done the Killers of Comedy tour. We've done all kinds of stuff. You know, I play with Artie. There was an energy when JD was there that I couldn't believe. Like, people were going out of their mind.
Right.
And then the opposite end shows up. Yeah, then the opposite end of the spectrum is Scott sitting there, lifeless.
Right.
You know,
right.
I think at one point I compared him to a lamp on a nightstand on stage.
Yeah. But I like that. Isn't he now giving you a hard time about showing up for certain dates?
Well, you know, it's so weird with these guys. Like, I don't think they fully understand what it means to be on the road and to you know, the shit sandwiches you got to eat to get to a point. Now, look, we're all helping each other out. That, you know, when they do these shows with me, it helps sell tickets, no doubt.
Sure.
Right.
But, you know, I'm helping by doing an hour every
You're doing the heavy lifting.
Right. So you would think they'd just be happy to be, you know, we're whisked here and there.
And they make more money than you guys. Like, some of the comics get less money, right, than Scott or...
I mean, I have a best friend of mine who I started with in Vegas doing stand-up. Phenomenal comic. This guy, Mad Dog Mattern, did this weekend with us, 3 shows. Every time he finished, standing ovation. Right? This guy crushed all weekend long. I go to JD. I said, Scott is out for Chicago and Arizona. And you'd have to ask him why.
Why is Scott out for Chicago and Arizona?
You want my honest opinion?
Yeah.
Okay. I think the fact that it's okay, it's a bit of a pain in the ass, the flying around. I get that. Okay?
Yeah, it's a long trip.
I get that. But it's not like you're doing it for free. You're getting a basic minimum guarantee. If we don't sell a fucking ticket, you still get this money in your pocket.
Right.
That's good money.
Right.
You know?
Right.
I think he knows that with the overhead of flying people out and getting hotels and rental cars, that he's not going to make anything more than his minimum. So what's it worth to him? You know,
is that what's going on, Scott?
No, it had nothing to do with the money.
Why are you not going
to commitments? Previous commitments.
What are you committing?
You committed to the Killers, whatever they're calling.
Who's going to sit around on that weekend and go, "Where's Scott? I've been waiting for him all weekend."
So I couldn't make it that weekend. That's all.
But did you agree to go?
Yes.
No. Originally, I said I don't think I could make it that weekend. When you said,
but you said that for like 3 fucking weeks.
No,
like,
I haven't.
I tell you, I go, Scott, I need to know. Are you in or are you out?
I couldn't change the plans I had, so I told you.
Why don't you just cut him out completely?
Well, but here's my other problem. So I go to JD. I go, listen, Scott's not available. Can you do Chicago and Arizona? And he goes, well, you know, he's like, we got to renegotiate. And I'm like, renegotiate what?
I never said renegotiate. He did. But
you've said it at other times.
Well,
you shook me down. Let's be honest.
I'm going to San Francisco.
God. Imagine getting shaken down by
this
the
guy
likes of
comes
Scott
up to me
D'Angelo.
one day.
I'm not shaking him down.
Okay. Let's talk. One day he comes up. One day he comes up to me and goes,
it's negotiating. It's not shaking down.
Yeah, fuck you.
As a Jew, I guess it's shaking down. But...
Yeah, let me tell you how you negotiate. Let me explain to everybody how Scott negotiates. He comes up to me and goes, so, yeah, I just don't think scheduling-wise I'll be able to do a lot of these shows. It's just not going to work out.
He's the guy who wanted extra money.
He's the reason I started this fucking tour. I swear. I swear to you. I'm not lying.
Right. He started in with you.
So he says, well, you know, just scheduling-wise, it's a lot of flying. I don't know. I said, okay, fine.
What else does he have to do?
Nothing. Sit behind bowlers on ESPN.
Right.
That's it.
That was his big excitement.
So I come to him the next day. I go, Scott, are you sure you're out or are you in? And he goes, well, if there was just more money. Now all of a sudden,
now it's about money.
You didn't say that.
For Chicago? I never said that.
For everything. You said for the whole pack. You said, well, if I could just, you know, if there's just more money there, then it wouldn't be a problem being out. Yeah, so do I. And I can't because I'm paying you guys an arm and a fucking leg.
Well, who the fuck do you think is coming there because of our guys? They're not going to see you.
Oh, you think so? They're coming to see you with a fucking cell phone on your lap, like a jerk off.
Try doing the show without Ronnie or me.
I've been doing shows without Ronnie and you.
So go ahead.
And Ronnie, and in all fairness,
he put it together for you.
And in all fairness, I'm scared that you're gonna fucking walk away from the block party show.
Why am I being busted?
Because I'm
being busted because you busted his balls. I remember you busted his balls.
No, I didn't bust his balls.
You were like, "Can I get some money?" And then you get angry when everyone's making appearances and you're not involved.
His balls.
Don't include him. Take him out.
And then JD's like, "I want to renegotiate." And I go, "JD, you know the comic you introduced this weekend that you loved? I mean, JD said he's one of the greatest comics he's seen." I'm like, "You've made 10 times more than him." Like,
oh my goodness!
I thought these guys need money. Why wouldn't you go? You got nothing else to do.
I understand that he doesn't like to travel. I get it. Fine.
Yeah, but come on, make some dough.
I did not ask to be a part. Shuli asked me to fill in for Ronnie.
All right, but now you got a shot. People liked you. You went over big.
But I'm not good at. I didn't.
None of them. Scott's worse than you.
It's not my thing, and
But don't you want the extra money?
Nah.
Wow, Rockefeller.
No, that's not. Shut up. No, it's not. I'm not Rockefeller.
Bank some money, dude.
But it's not.
It's not my thing. It's such easy money, John.
It's not your thing. You don't have to do anything.
You really?
Yeah. Yes, you do. You still
what
have to do stuff.
You just stand there and people just go crazy when they see you.
Howard, I told him just be a traffic cop up there. Have like 2 minutes, 3 minutes, you know, of whatever you. And he did great. He came up with bits himself. He came up with suggestions. He was in control as a host. He was great.
This is the laziest DJ I've ever seen in my entire life.
Go make some dough. This is what it's about.
But it's not I'm not a performer, and I'm not comfortable doing it.
You know,
and I'm not comfortable doing it, and that's really it.
If you're looking for comfort all the time in life, you're never going to get anywhere.
Scott's the guy. He was always walking around here, sad sack. Everybody makes appearances. I don't get anything. Nobody asks me. No one invites me to the party. Then you fucking invite him, and then he's renegotiating. I never get invited.
I'm just like, what's going on? Like,
why? So get away from these guys.
I took a Greyhound bus one New Year's from Vegas to Colorado to do a fucking $100 show.
So when he starts complaining that I'll never included, say, fuck you, I'm not including you in anything.
You know what?
Take him off the bill.
At this point, it's like I have myself, John Toll, Mad Dog, and the three of us amazing comics. Ronnie. Now, Ronnie could be the only one who could pull diva shit right now, and I would understand it. He's got TV deals, he's got, cologne deals, whatever he's got. He's fine. He's fine.
He's not your problem.
Ronnie loves to be around fans. He loves to fucking be out on the weekend. The travel bothers him a little bit, and I understand that. He's old. But other than that, he's having a blast. And I don't care what you tell me, JD, you had a great fucking time this weekend.
It was fine.
You didn't look uncomfortable, laughing and having a blast after the show.
Well, yeah, I was glad the shows were over. I was done. I didn't do anything.
That's the other thing. You cannot compliment. He will not take a compliment. I go, JD, you really were great up there first show. He goes, well, there's 2 more left. And I go, well, I said, JD,
you gotta stay focused.
You're a great human being.
But Scott, why would you go? I heard you were like watching the professional bowling tournament all weekend because you were on TV. And by the way, talk about a black cloud. Every bowler that bowled on the lane where Scott was behind him lost.
Oh, wow.
Well,
do you know that?
There was only 3 bowlers with me. I mean,
yeah, but every bowler,
one of the guys finished like in the top 20.
Every bowler on TV that you were sitting behind lost.
No, well, the guy won. Obviously, one of them had to win.
There you are.
The best is the guy sitting behind Scott.
He won. Pete Weber won.
I don't know.
So how can you make a statement like that?
Someone told me they heard that whenever a bowler came up in front of you.
Yes, it is. Obviously. Pete Weber sat on the other side whenever he wasn't bowling. Right. All the other bowlers sat right in front of you.
Oh, you're talking about sitting in front of me.
Yeah.
Well, there was a lot of people around me. I mean, I wasn't the only one there. You
think somebody else has your black cloud?
Nobody has. That's
someone
ridiculous.
told me you were yelling at the snack bar server.
I heard about
you got into an altercation.
This isn't the real taco.
Right.
What were you fighting about?
I wasn't fighting. exciting. I just went in there with plenty of time, I thought, to eat dinner before I had to be at a meeting.
There's always a problem with his
Every time. So I ordered a hamburger, which was supposed to be quick, and 20 minutes later, it still wasn't ready. And I went up politely, and I handed him my receipt. I said, do you know when this order is coming out? And he said a few minutes, and then I kept waiting and waiting, and finally I went up to him and said, do you have any idea when this order is coming out? I have to go to a meeting.
Yeah.
You know, I got a little. I wasn't fighting.
I have a meeting with the 8th frame.
Yeah, I had to be at a meeting.
What meeting? Who did you
with
have
the PBA? They need you to be at roll call before your bowl.
I'm having a meeting.
Bowl roll call. Push my PBA meeting back 10 minutes. I'm waiting for my snacks. Hold the meeting. I need a burger.
This poor fucking kid's working at a snack bar in a bowling alley.
I wasn't a kid.
Please, my meeting.
Even more pathetic when a kid and you're yelling at him about a burger.
I wasn't a kid.
I would love to hear that meeting.
You call this a tomato?
The meeting is just they explain the rules and they make sure you're there, and that's the
I
meeting.
specifically asked for iceberg lettuce.
Bowling is the only sport that you can eat a hamburger before playing.
That's right.
You know? If you have a full stomach.
I like how they have to explain.
I needed some protein.
Yeah.
I like that they have to explain the rules of bowling to these guys.
These only hasn't been bowling
what
enough.
What the fuck has changed?
We had a meeting about the rules.
Okay, there's still 10 pins, right?
Any other rules?
They're not thinking of taking away a pin, are they?
I'm late for my rule meeting.
Is it true he lost to like a 13-year-old?
Well, there was a few 14 and 15-year-olds there.
But they bowled like they were 20.
Damn kids.
I have to get ready for my big bowling match against a 13-year-old.
But I took out the fetus.
Played four Scott versus a fetus.
I didn't bowl with him directly. He was in the tournament, though.
JD, you should go do these gigs, dude. I don't know what they're paying you, but according to Shuli,
it was a very good money.
You don't need money?
No, listen, it's not.
Get out of that shithole you're living in. How many of these dates could you book a year? Like maybe 6 or 7 for him, right?
You want to hear something? I got a guy who contacted me who wants to book a weekend in 2013 in Montego Bay in Jamaica.
Oh, my goodness.
What does it pay?
A Ronnie Mund.
Is there dinner?
A Ronnie Mund weekend in Jamaica.
Oh, my God.
Wants to do
Wow.
a whole inclusive thing for fans to come out for all 3 days.
Yeah.
And this is the phone calls I get day and night. Like, this thing is running on all cylinders right now.
So why wouldn't JD get in on this?
It's not my thing.
But you know what? Sitting here ain't my thing, but they pay me.
Well, I'm sorry.
I would like to be anywhere else.
It's called a job. It's not supposed to be comfortable.
But I have a job. This is my job.
But JD, I could understand if you did this weekend and you sucked and it was fucking terrible and you bombed.
Well, you know what? Don't convince him.
You didn't do any of those. You were really good, and he came out to standing ovations.
You mean all he has to do is stand there? Let me understand the job. He goes, right. Hey, everybody, I'm JD Hammer. Hey, by the way, we just got here in Baltimore, and I got to tell you, man, we're having a great time. And tonight we're gonna have Shuli and this other idiot and this other douchebag, and we're gonna entertain you. And it's gonna be great fun. Any questions for anybody? Hey, JD, why are you such a fucking dick? Hey, whatever. Okay, here's Shuli. That's it.
That's it.
Oh my God.
That's it.
Whatever.
That's too much.
Yeah, you actually
I did too much work.
He actually did a lot more.
Right.
But JD opened the show, and then he opened the show by.
What did you say when you opened the show? Let me hear what you did.
You know how
Were you there?
Go ahead.
LL Cool J read a prayer, did a prayer for Whitney Houston before the Grammy, so that's what I did. The LL Cool J Whitney Houston prayer
to open the show.
To open the show.
And I thought it was really smart and funny. And then he has a joke about Scott right after the
What did you say about Scott?
Will Murray gave me this joke. He said, how is Whitney Houston dead and Scott Salem still alive? The most important question, actually, is how is Whitney Houston dead and Scott Salem still alive? Okay, you have to do one more song because I'm not there. We don't want to kill the man, for Christ's sake.
And that killed.
There you go.
And then after that, you bring up a comic.
What the
fuck?
I don't get you guys.
He felt really uncomfortable.
It's like handing you money for doing nothing.
And then at one point he read.
Okay, get someone else. It's fine.
At one point he read Winter.
And by the way, you do less than JD.
That's right.
And you're negotiating with.
I do.
I thought you were the guy every minute.
I need money. Oh yeah, you should see this guy.
No
when,
one pays me.
The only time this guy comes to life is if there's not a cord long enough for him to sit his ass on stage while the fucking show's going on.
That's right.
We got a problem. He's running around. And again, the meet and greet's about to start. I tell Scott, I go, get your food before the meet and greet.
Come on, you know.
Well, no, I'm going to say it.
I got a story about the meet and greet too. Go ahead.
So he orders his food in typical Scott fashion.
Yeah.
Everybody's getting their food all around the place. Scott's is taking an hour.
Why? What does he order?
He just ordered a burger.
Right.
But it's Scott. That's his luck. We went out to eat.
You mean everybody got their food but you?
Apparently.
So no as soon luck.
As soon as the waitress brings it over to me, Bruno, the guy we work with, came in and he goes, meet and greet's open.
Yeah, starting. And I've gone to restaurants with him after a show. We all order food. His is the only one that's ice cold. I'm not lying.
Wow.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
And for the later show, there was another meet and greet. And he stayed for like 5 minutes and left.
No, I didn't.
I said, yes, you did. Scott, we were there maybe 10 minutes.
No.
Okay.
Scott, you said to me before the meeting, you go, the parking garage I'm in closes at 1:50. Closes at 1:30.
Yeah.
I'm out of here at 1:15.
I had to leave.
Everything's your problem.
Howard, I swear to God, I'm a fucking headliner of this show. And every 2 seconds, there's another fucking thing I got to deal with.
Right.
Every 2
They're
seconds.
coming to you to traffic
To me,
cop
to me.
and
You understand it
do
when
logistics.
it's Beetlejuice with you, but not these guys. They should be-
Exactly.
yeah.
You know,
Everything's your problem.
By the way, Shuli, my parking lot closes at 1:15.
I didn't say one thing to you the whole weekend. I get it.
Why is it Shuli's problem with the car?
I didn't say it was a problem. I said
so. Why?
I was in the meet and greet for 45 minutes. I don't know what the fuck
you
you're
were
talking
not there
about.
45 minutes, Scott.
So
You were not.
So Shuli sets up
the whole time.
Shuli sets up this whole fucking thing for you, and now you're bailing out on him.
Yeah,
I'm not bailing
being
out.
at
It's
the-
one
Two
weekend.
2 weekends.
It's one weekend.
I thought it was 2 gigs.
It's the same weekend.
I'm dying to know what this commitment is.
Yeah, what's your commitment?
That it takes 2 days.
I guarantee it's something to do with bowling or
It's
some
no
dumb
bowling.
shit thing.
It's no bowling. So
What is
I'm
the
not
commitment?
bailing on anything. We're going to San Francisco and Sacramento in April.
Right.
Well, we'll see. I don't know. Maybe a commitment will come up then, and you won't be able to do that then.
I said I was going to that.
You never. When we brought up this schedule, you never said, "Oh, I may have a commitment that weekend, and I might not be able to go." You never said
I
that.
said that
as
from
we
the
got
day you
closer.
told me.
You started bitching about the trip. Well,
No,
then first we got to fly to
What's your big
Chicago,
commitment?
then
Let's hear it.
Arizona.
I have family obligations to
Bullshit.
take care of.
Bullshit. I smell bullshit.
No, there's no bullshit.
Yeah.
No bullshit. So I'm not.
You can't go like some other time. You can't say to your family
No.
another time. This is something that has to be done
Like
that
you can't
weekend.
say I have to work because it's not like you're coming home empty-handed. You're going to come home with money.
No, I got it. I get it. And
He
really,
doesn't need money.
The money. No, the money is nice to have, and I'm a little bummed that I can't do it.
Right.
It's not. Believe me, the money. I like the money, of course.
What's the commitment?
It's a family wedding that I'm going to. So
yeah.
Wedding.
The wedding came up 3 weeks ago.
All
It was a
snowboarding
family-
in
all
Aspen.
of a sudden, I'm invited to a wedding. No,
Yeah.
I believe me. I want to go with these guys. I have a good time. We had a great time this weekend.
Dude,
the shows
how does the wedding only come up 3 weeks before
It
the
wasn't
gig?
3 weeks. I told him originally when he told me the date, I probably won't be able to do that.
Is that true?
I don't remember. All I remember
I'm
is him
telling
coming
you.
to me and saying, the first time he came to me and said, the flying, it might be a bit of a problem. And then the very next day, I said, so what's the deal? Are you in or you out? Well, if there was just more money.
Yeah.
It was just more
Somehow the
money.
wedding would disappear.
Right.
Yeah, and I'm just like, what the fuck? This
Yeah,
dude's
sorry,
shaking
dude.
me down.
Yeah. So what'd you do? Did you give in to him?
Well, I fucking got pissed, man. I
Did you
walked
give in
up.
to his demands?
No, I
he's
just said
not
Scott.
going.
No.
I go, Scott. I said, well,
So in other words, he can get out of the family commitment. If
yeah,
it was just
absolutely.
more money.
No,
Scott,
no.
if I fucking wrote a number down right
Yeah.
now and showed it to you and said this is what you're making for Chicago, you on the air you'd call up your family, tell them to go fuck themselves and come and do this show.
Right.
So don't bullshit me.
No, it's not that at all.
Everybody has a price.
Right.
He doesn't get it. Like there's no headliner that does this kind of money split with people
Right.
on the show,
Well.
and I got no problem doing it because. Like I said, we're helping each other out.
Right.
But you got to get to a point where you got to realize, look, to get to the level where we all can make better money, you got to do the fucking shows.
Right. Yeah, you got to be consistent.
Right.
So who else you got around here? Throw Scott off the bill and get.
You can't get JD.
JD, you can't get. Evidently,
we should do Stern Show's Got Talent, and me and you should judge the staff and see who's going to be added to the.
I don't care if any of you go out on the road.
I don't care either.
Yeah, I just like hearing all these stories. All right, well, anyway, there you have it. Shuli, Scott the engineer, and JD.
Yeah.
So JD, you're out. You're not doing it.
I'm not opposed to doing other shows. I just don't. I don't like doing so many. You know, I like.
It's one weekend a month. One weekend a month.
Just that sentence is good enough.
With the Killers of Comedy, we were out 3 weekends a month. 3 weeks out of a month, we were on the road.
Right.
This is 1 weekend a month.
Right. And what do? You sit home all weekend.
Yeah, well, that's what I do. Sorry.
Yeah. I mean, no, I'm saying.
I do stuff here and there.
You get out and be with some dudes and maybe meet some chicks. You know.
Yeah, we saw what happened this past weekend.
Well, that was a fiasco. He lined it all up.
He came to me like 2 weeks before the show. And he's like,
What did he say?
No, he's just like, I need the hotel information. I need to know what hotel we're staying. I'm like,
why? Because you had that gig set up with the chick in the room.
Right. I'm like, so I
need to get.
So I felt bad that he.
I can't tell you why, but I need my hotel. You thought you were going to be banging at that hotel.
I didn't listen with my with my low with my thoughts. I don't expect anything to happen.
All right, maybe we will renegotiate.
with my low.
What did he really want to say?
I don't know. With my low
expectations or whatever.
Whatever. Why did you need to know the hotel like 2 weeks ahead of time? Like, what were you telling her?
She stayed with the friend at the hotel.
Oh, so you got her at the same hotel?
Yes.
Oh, fuck. You were really...
He had it all planned perfectly.
Until the dude showed up.
And then the next morning, we're walking out to leave, and they're like apart from each other. It's not like they're walking hand in hand or anything. And I'm like, wow, he had that chick up. I go, look at this motherfucker. His first weekend with us.
Right.
He's fucking got chicks. He's got a suite. He's got, look at him. Good for him.
Right.
Walk up to him like, you closed that deal, huh? Oh, not exactly. She brought a friend in my room till 5 in the morning. I'm just like, oh, Jesus.
Oh, poor guy. No, and every minute he was like, what? He didn't care about anything.
He got into a panic.
How many steps away from my room?
How far is the hotel from where she is?
Could you make it like an adjacent room where you have a little door passes through?
Silly, what room am I in? I got to tell her immediately.
Is that room service?
You had it all fucking lined up, dude.
He did, man.
He was so excited. See, now that's why he's not willing
I guarantee you
to do other gigs.
Dude.
This one worked out badly for him.
I guarantee you.
That has nothing to do with
Dude,
it.
you could get something lined up.
No, I know.
Don't set your sights quite that high. Was the chick really hot?
She was, she was really hot.
Yeah.
Yeah, listen, I know. I'm not a performer. I'm not
Was she a 10?
She's up there.
Oh yeah, she was like between 8 to 10, no doubt.
So why don't you get a 6 and with a slam dunk?
That's not what happened. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like I was on stage. And
Bring a 10 to the hotel. Bring a 6. Have a good weekend.
Well, I guarantee you come to Chicago, Arizona, I'll have fucking a total of 28 for you. How about that?
That's right. You'll get a 28.
Yeah, 2 10s
There's
and
gonna be 50
an 8.
of
How
them.
about that?
I don't know. Sure. What hotel am I in? I just need the hotel information.
Oh, my God. This is so funny.
So what happened? As soon as Shuli got the hotel, you gave her the information, and then she hooked up a room there.
Yeah.
Wow.
And you
Keep
thought,
this on the DL.
This is going to be good.
They're talking about renegotiating. You should see this show in the lobby of a
Shuli,
hotel.
first of all, you're not talking. Go ahead.
What?
I'm sorry.
What?
No, he's talking about renegotiation. I'm like,
That's the word you use, though.
I'm fucking around when I said renegotiating. Okay.
You said you don't like to travel, you don't like to leave your house, and if you're going to do that, then you want to renegotiate.
No, I said I to travel. Forget it. I give up. I give up talking.
Give up.
Can I go,
you
please?
Give up talking. You can't give up on talking.
Then I really can't use you on the show.
I give up talking. You can't give. Don't give up on talking, JD.
I talked way too much today.
What was the question?
Nothing.
He said he never used the word renegotiate, but everything else I said I was accurate about.
Right.
So I take it back.
It's breaking my heart that you had to get like you were bugging Shuli for the hotel.
I wasn't bugging him. I just asked,
And then he got the chick lined up at the hotel.
He wasn't a pain in the ass like this guy. Like every 2 seconds.
Scott, the engineer.
I'm like, so we're gonna do. I go, we're gonna do this weekend in Chicago, in Seattle, and Portland. Like this is 3 months away. I tell him. And 2 weeks later, Scott. So I'm looking online. There's only one flight coming back. I go, Scott. This has nothing to do with you.
Right.
It has nothing to do. Don't worry. People know when we need to get back. They know when we need to leave. It'll be taken care of.
Oh.
You know, just the other day. Flights are very cheap right now. If you want to get the tickets, get them now. For
just trying to help out.
So fucking annoying.
No, it's not annoying.
I'm trying to help out.
I'm trying to help out.
Show up for the date.
Yeah, do the show.
You see, in other words, Shuli has booked this whole thing around you guys.
Around Scott, mainly.
No,
That's right.
but he's booked this thing, and now it falls on his head when you guys can't show up. It's like all his headache. That's what he's saying. He's saying, hey, we're all in this together. Everybody wants to make money. You guys got to step up to the plate and take on some responsibility. Poor fucking guy's going to have a nervous breakdown.
Listen.
Right, Shuli? Do I have
you have no idea.
Ronnie had a commitment with you this past weekend that he had to take care of.
All right.
Okay?
Listen, that comes
I have
first.
no problem with
Ronnie. And that is the door opening for them all
Absolutely.
to become
Absolutely.
a pain in the ass.
So Ronnie's not going. I'm not going.
I don't want to be a pain in the ass.
I'll have commitments too.
Right, yeah. Now Scott can't be left out.
I like how Scott goes, I don't want to be in pain in the... You know no other way. Let's be honest.
The sentence, I don't want to be a pain in the ass, coming out of your mouth.
Don't ever say it again.
He doesn't see it, though.
No, he's the last to see it.
Right.
Every time.
I'm not a pain in the ass. Where's my plane ticket? I have to leave the parking garage.
I'm sitting there calling my DJ's hotel.
I'm not available.
To come down to the lobby. I'm watching my DJ step off an elevator with a plastic shopping bag with his DJ equipment in it.
Right.
He was tying his shoe and testing the equipment at the same time.
That's called talent, buddy.
Well, I don't know when everyone became a Rockefeller.
A diva.
I can tell you one thing: the fans are loving the show. The comics on it are great. The audience turnout has been great.
So what are you going to do now? You don't have JD.
Yeah, your bill is falling apart.
I mean, it's something
Ronnie's block party. There's no Ronnie,
it's
no
just
Scott,
be
no
me
JD.
and Ronnie. That's it.
Oh, it is Ronnie. All right,
Yeah, no,
Ronnie will come back.
Ronnie's been in from day one.
Ronnie loves it.
He does, and he's great at it. He's amazing at it. I think all three of them would be fucking great, but then I'm coming home with no money.
Right. Poor you.
I'm in the middle of moving. My kid's gonna be 2. I feel like my heart's gonna explode any fucking day. I walk when I get off the 2 trains and the bus that I gotta fucking take home. I walk by a cemetery, and first thought is, these lucky motherfuckers.
Right.
That's my first thought. You have no idea how lucky you are.
I know that feeling.
And then my second thought is, why isn't Scott fucking in that cemetery?
You are just
waste of a human being.
Just fucking relentless, man. Just
I am.
fucking relentless.
I am. When I sit.
Listen, you don't like me at the shows, fine. Book him all the time. Take Ronnie. If you feel so strongly about me being dead, then prove to me that you are alive.
Scott, you know what it is, Scott? You have a worker mentality. You're finally in business with somebody where you guys could all be in business together.
I know this.
So you gotta say to your family, look, I got commitments with Shuli. I'm doing this to make extra money. We're in a business together. No, you're like, I'll pick and choose.
I'm not picking and choosing.
This fucking
Like,
guy.
I could
This is the only one that
I could understand.
I've done every other one, and I'm committed to the other one.
And Scott, I can understand if I said, look, there's a risk maybe on a weekend with a high overrate where we come back with nothing. Then I could tell you, say, no, look, I don't want to come back with nothing.
No, I know.
But there's a minimum that's still fucking. Anybody in that fucking back office would shove the next person over to get that minimum. Trust me.
I got you. I understand. And believe me,
then why is there a question?
I give up.
Ronnie
He's going to pile on.
Go ahead.
Fucking.
What do you want to say, Ronnie?
Hold on. I didn't even know what was going on. This has been going on for 40 minutes, I heard.
Yeah. Sorry to wake you.
Where the fuck were you?
I was talking to Chuck Zito.
What are you guys doing a show now?
Bruce Willis?
Yeah. Scott has major issues.
Here we go.
Like if we make fun of him,
right?
He goes to me, why do you have to get on me all the time? I go, that's you. That's what you're all about. That's why you're there.
Well, he's like.
So he doesn't like the show.
He doesn't. I don't know what he likes. I think the only thing he likes is the money.
We all bust each other's
But
balls.
now he's.
I like doing the shows.
All right, listen, guys.
I don't think he likes doing the shows.
Right.
He wants more money to do less.
No, that's
and
not.
what does he do during the show,
Nothing.
Shirley?
Okay, so you know what, Scott?
Wait, tell me about the picture that was up on Twitter this week. From the show. Did you see that picture?
Yeah, he was sleeping during.
He was sitting on the stage. It looked like he was fast asleep.
I wasn't sleeping. Okay.
He's like Biden at a State of the Union address.
Right.
So Scott comes up. His idea. The show starts with the house lights being dimmed. Let's get this party started. Which Scott has yet to start any fucking party ever
in his whole life.
Right. That starts, and he starts running through the audience, which I love. I love the fact that he's comfortable enough to fucking run through the audience, and we all laugh at him because it looks ridiculous. And then he gets on stage. The crowd's excited. He introduces either Ronnie or JD, whoever's doing the show
When
with
he
him.
comes out, though, does he dance with people?
No.
He'll high-five people.
No, he dances through the crowd. And Shuli sits there and he cries.
Yeah.
He's laughing so hard.
It's funny.
So your thing is dancing. Oh, there he is. There he is. That's funny. Oh, I see. Yeah, that is funny. Yeah. Oh,
Howard,
jumping.
I'm like Spider-Man.
Yeah.
If you played the audio of the Hindenburg disaster, it would fit perfectly with him dancing through the crowd.
Oh, it's heartbreaking.
It's an experience.
And then he starts talking. He's completely out of breath. He's like, "How's everybody doing?"
Does anybody have an iron lung? Does anybody know CPR?
And then Scott goes, we booked a deal in Toronto.
Right.
So he's got to get a passport.
My God.
Because in New York, you can get an enhanced license. You don't have to get a passport to go to Toronto.
Yeah.
So it's $40 to get an enhanced license, but it's like $200-something to get a passport.
Oh, that cuts into his.
So
overhead.
he's like, I'm not going to Canada.
So now it's your problem, Scott. You're in business with these guys.
I know.
You agreed to do this.
Yes.
They agreed to do it with you to help you make money and all that.
Yes.
And then as soon as there's a $200 expense, I'm not going.
Meanwhile, it wouldn't have been $200.
You don't see the problem in that?
But also, they want to do this deal in Montego Bay. You're going to have a passport.
Well, and not only that,
I'm going to get a passport.
It'll be $200, Robin.
The Toronto gig, we told him about passports how many months ago?
Oh, that was back in September.
Yeah, and then he springs it on you. He's not going. And then
I didn't say it wasn't
he's represented to these
No,
people.
you said you weren't going. You said you weren't getting a passport.
Well,
you
I
weren't
still
spending
can go.
$200 and something. So move to New York. You'll be able to get an enhanced license for $40.
I'll get the passport.
Yeah, I mean, Scott.
Oh, now I get a passport.
You're a problem. Surely
He never says anything, Howard.
And JD's coming to Chicago and Arizona with us.
He is?
Yeah, he's going to take his place. He's not going.
Are you going?
You're going.
This is what I get.
You're going.
Thank you, Ronnie.
You're going.
See, that's why I love Ronnie. He knows what's up.
He's going.
There's no debate here.
It's like when Ronnie gets the girls topless. He just tells JD.
No, JD's he's doing me we had a talk. We did. We had no talk.
See? Don't do it.
No, we did.
You're having a talk now.
We had a talk.
He's been talking to Chuck Zito too
I have
much.
Chuck coming to talk. How's that?
Now you're going.
Now you're going.
Thanks.
I think this is the talk. Yeah. All right.
No, I talked to him yesterday, and he said, "I'm not going." I said, "You're going. You're going. Don't worry about it."
You'll do it.
He wasn't going to do Hartford for me and Stanford, but he did it.
Yeah. Well,
So
meanwhile, he
he's
made
gonna
himself
go.
a nice bunch of money,
Yeah,
right?
he's going to have a
Yes,
and
I did. I thought it was going to be like, one-time thing. And now,
now you can blame it on Scott.
right.
I mean,
Well,
I had to go with Howard because that's my job, okay? And without Howard, there's no block party.
Martin, you're on the air.
Right?
Let me find out what Martin. Martin says he's been to the block party.
Okay.
Yes, Martin.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, Scott, you cannot possibly be so deluded to believe that you are the top bill above Shuli.
I didn't.
I'm telling you right now that the reason why this block party exists is because of Ronnie and Shuli. You do nothing. You're a lump. You're the train wreck that people come to witness.
Did Scott do anything at the block party you were at?
And where do you work?
He does. I'm the manager of a web development team.
Oh,
Which show did you go to, sir?
I went to the Seattle show, and it was
Oh, yeah, you had a good time at that one. That was a blast.
It was awesome. Ronnie is great. Shuli's great. Scott is a lump. He does nothing.
But and that being said, Howard, like you said it one day that you're fascinated by him doing nothing.
Again, I'll say,
and I'm fascinated at that. As angry as it makes me that I have to pay this fucking guy at the end of the night, it's fascinating to me.
Hey,
It's
if you're so
fascinating to
angry
me.
and you want me dead and you get some you mad to pay me, then
I don't have to kick you off the show.
I don't have to do the show.
You quit every other weekend.
I don't have to do the show.
You quit the show all the time.
I don't quit the show. He vehemently says.
And then when he's off the show, he'll be like, "Nobody gives me any money."
He keeps saying that I do nothing,
all right.
and he's annoyed that he has to pay me.
Right,
so I won't do him anymore.
All right, I got to get.
Oh, you're so full of shit. You know you're not quitting.
Now he's going to go and lock the door in his studio and stew.
And
And
what are you always getting on me for? That's what I'll hear later.
And then you're going to come in there and you're going to go, Scott, what are you pissed off? Oh, I was just kidding around.
Scott, it's just a pain in the ass to have to deal with a guy like you. Like, just be grateful you're there.
I am grateful.
And show up for the fucking dates. And you're part of a team. You agreed to this. Just do it. Stop fucking around with these guys.
Be a professional.
Oh, I wish I didn't have to buy a passport.
Well, fucking join the real world. We all wish we don't have to pay money for anything.
Right.
But guess
Come on,
what?
Scott, be a team player, huh?
Yeah, exactly.
We got some big stuff coming up.
Yeah,
when you fucking hamburger, put it aside and shake people's hands.
I did. I didn't eat it. Okay.
My hamburger.
One day there's gonna everybody's
I miss
picture,
you, hamburger.
everybody's meet and greet picture with Scott's gonna have like chicken finger sauce on their shoulder from him taking pictures with
a hamburger.
He always orders something messy too.
I was at the bowling alley. I had a meeting coming up, and I said to the young man, "My burger hasn't been here for 40
I
minutes."
have no idea what you're dealing with.
Well, he was all worried about Friday night was the Hartford show, and he was also doing the bowling.
Right.
And he was afraid if he made the finals,
Right.
he was trying to figure out how he was gonna
make the finals.
Yeah, how he was
How's
gonna
that gonna
bowl and go to Hartford at the same time.
I told you from the beginning there was no way I was going to be able to make the finals.
The
please.
finals.
I had
He's
to-
worried
I had
about it.
What if I
bowled like shit anyway?
I can't even beat a 13-year-old. How am I going to make the finals?
What if Angelina Jolie wants to give me a blowjob? What am I going to do?
Yeah, why worry about it?
I wasn't worried about
He's
it.
worried about the finals.
It's busting your chops.
Yeah.
Hey, Howard,
See, you're always busting my chops. When I do it to
Yeah,
you, it's
Martin.
like, why you always get on me?
Howard, can I ask Shuli a quick question?
Yeah.
Hey, Shuli, if you were given a couple hours on Thursday morning to do the Miserable Men show again, would you do it?
Yeah, I do whatever they ask.
He does.
Me to
He's
do
a team
here,
player. This fucking guy, he does everything. He's around here.
I've weighed shit in a bag from High Pitch Eric and
Yeah,
Joey
I mean, this
Boots.
is our utility man. Surely you don't get any fucking aggravation with.
Is it possible that we could possibly schedule that? I mean, Thursdays it's not light. You've got a lot of good content on there, but it'd be great to have the Miserable Men back.
All right. Well,
We're going to meet at the bowling alley and discuss this.
after our hamburgers.
I can't do
After
it.
the PBA meeting.
Hey, you know what, Martin? I'm having a good feeling about you. I like you because you go out, you support the show, you support
Martin's
these guys.
a huge fan.
Martin's a huge
and
fan.
I mean that literally. He's like 500
Oh, but
pounds.
he's in Seattle. I was gonna give him tickets to that Bruce Springsteen show.
Oh.
Where
He doesn't fly.
He doesn't
Martin.
fly.
No.
Too bad.
Neither do I.
I appreciate it. I really do appreciate
All
it. I wouldn't be able to make it out there, though.
Yeah, right. Okay, Martin. Cool. All right, later.
Thanks, Howard.
Right, bye. Like that guy. All right, I do have to take a break. Boys, Lisa G, thank you. Is Lisa still here?
No.
Oh, she left.
Usually she stands there.
That's never happened before.
Yeah, really? What happened?
Chased her out.
I don't know. But, boys, I wish you best of luck with your block party, Ronnie's block party. I hope it all works out. JD, may you get the courage to go on stage and make some money.
He's coming, man. He's coming to Chicago and Arizona.
It's the easiest money
He'll
you
be
can
there.
make, son. I'm telling you.
Count on it, people. He'll be there.
I don't like it, though. I'm not
not
comfortable.
my
It's not my thing. What is your thing? Sitting at home?
Yes.
It's not my thing. Meanwhile, you had a chick up to your room. All right, granted, it was a dude with her, but
Yeah, you got
Oh,
close.
I didn't know about
You
that.
got
Wow.
he had it all
With
lined up.
a dude.
Yeah, but he had it all lined up.
I'm telling
We
you.
don't need to go back.
We didn't know
over
the
it.
dude was coming.
You do a weekend with Ronnie JD, deals are being closed left and right for you.
All right, boys. Good luck. Thanks. And Shuli, may you not kill yourself.
Thank you, buddy.
Right,
Help me,
all right.
Howard.
We'll
Help me
be
get
back.
on the road by myself.
We'll be
please.
back. I will get to phone calls. I do have a lot to get to. I realize we've been wasting a lot of time on nonsense.
And where's
this
my
morning.
breakfast?
Scott, go get your hamburger. We'll be back right after these words.
Shuli, so much was made about the negative aspects of the block party. Is there any joy in it for you? What are some of the positives?
There's a ton of joy in it. I have a blast. We bust balls, but it is fun when we're on the road and hanging out with each other. It's just all the drama and politics away from that shit. Just a pain in the ass. Like, I don't want to deal with it, you know? It's not my job, as my friend Jose would say.
But it's worth it in the long run. All of the drama, all of the chaos, all of the headaches.
Yeah, I mean, if you got a paycheck from this company, you'd realize it's worth it too, and you put up with it. But it absolutely is worth it. It's, as far as jobs go, it's a pretty cool one to kind of have and be a part of, I think.
Scott,
It's
at
just
the end,
me.
Hey, yeah, exactly. But you're the orchestrator. You're the quarterback of this production.
Me?
No, truly.
Jim, I'm not. I do nothing.
Well, Scott, at the end of one of these long weekends, do you ever do any self-reflection and realize, hey, I'm being a bit of a
I
diva?
gotta work. No, I realize I gotta work with these assholes. That's what after getting beat up all weekend.
Yeah, you know when he thinks I got to work with these assholes? When I come in with an envelope stuffed with money for him.
Wait a minute.
That's when he
this
thinks.
weekend in Hartford, you gave me the place. I showed up. I didn't even bother you for transportation or anything. I drove myself. I showed up. I got to the gig.
Did I have any complaints about you this weekend in Hartford on the air? Did I complain about anything?
Yeah, you said I
what?
showed up and I started complaining about the
No, I said that
equipment
you
and
do nothing and that you were like a lamp on a nightstand, and that I meant for like all the shows in general, not just Hartford.
I showed up. I did what I had to do. I didn't fucking bother you this weekend. And I don't know what the fuck you're upset about.
It's frustrating when you listen. When
I didn't ask you for anything this weekend.
No, you haven't. But it's not exactly like you're helping me out every weekend either by backing off shows and.
But it's
and,
one weekend. I've done every other one.
Dude, before this weekend, let's be honest.
Have I not done every other show?
Before Chicago and Arizona, were you 100% on Hartford and?
Yes, I was
from the start.
I was in.
Now you're lying. Now you're lying. No, you weren't, because you came up to that was.
Oh no, right. When Ronnie said he couldn't do it, then I was like, all right, I got to do this because you need me there.
All right. I mean, if that's the way you want to spin it, that's fine.
Surely is Scott misremembering how
I
things?
think he
We've
is.
heard that word
I think
before.
because the Connecticut show was the show in question that he came to me and said, "I'm not going to be able to do it because of prior commitments." And I said, for Hartford and Stamford.
Right.
And I said, okay. And then the next day is when he said, well, if there was just more money, and that's why I was like, wow, it has nothing to do with commitment. He just wants more money.
It's all about the bottom line.
That's why I called it a shakedown.
Okay. I'm still shaking.
Scott, I think the big picture that you're missing, and Shuli, you alluded to this, and actually Howard brought it up as well, is that you have to establish this block party. You have to make it a commodity. Then you start upping the ante a little bit. Then you start upping your appearance. You have to build it up.
We don't have to tell anybody we want more money. More money is coming in. Bigger offers are coming in.
Scott, you don't see it that way.
This Jamaica thing that this guy
Wait,
called
what is
me
this?
about?
What is this Jamaica?
He wants a 3-day weekend in a resort in Jamaica. You'll have a plane ticket for you.
Who fucking wants to go to Jamaica?
Whatever you want, and the money ridiculous.
Fuck Jamaica.
Nowhere near the money we're making right now, and that money's going to go up too.
You want to go to Jamaica with us?
That's if you are a part of things.
Shuli,
Yes, great.
What do you want?
Bottom line,
Yes.
put in the hard work.
Yeah.
You won't have to chase the money will chase you.
Fucking ain't right, man. Fucking ain't right, brother. Sounds like somebody wants to be on a little bill called The Block Party.
Yeah.
Featuring Greg Carmel.
Yeah, now we're talking.
That's right. Come out, show your abs, talk about how bad you want to bang Robin, but you're never going to.
Do some B-roll.
Couple
What's
crunches.
that? That's like a minute?
Couple crunches
Bring up
on
the first
stage, perhaps.
Wind sprints.
I bring this 15-pound machine with me as a prop.
I love it. I love it.
Everybody, we're meeting at Will's house to watch Jason.
Sounds like the block party just quit you, sir.
Shatner,
Yeah.
should I try and do it the week that Takei is sitting in?
Oh, that'd be good.
Yeah.
Hi, Bill.
Hello.
Hello.
George, how are you? What were you I was trying to, I was trying to go. I have 20 minutes with Gary in the morning, and George walks in and says, "You're not going to believe where I was." I go, "George, what is it?" He goes, "I was in Italy, and everyone there mentions Howard Stern."
Really? In Italy?
Which is insane. No one's mentioning Howard Stern.
I did not say everyone there mentions Howard Stern.
You have a lot of fans.
There were Americans that came up to me and sidled up to me and say, "Oh my," or "dry oatmeal," and I know exactly where they're coming from.
Well, George started. I said, "George, on the air, talk on the air. Don't talk to me before the show. There's nothing that interesting.
I got to save it.
You got to save it.
That's right.
So what happened? You and Brad went on a vacation?
2 weeks, because I've been working all year long, and I thought we.
Are you referring to Heroes? The show?
No,
it's
Super
over.
Ninjas, the Nickelodeon show. Saturday nights, 8:30, every Saturday night.
Is this a major role for George Takei? Is this a role where
I'm
it would
the
take? When you say
ninja
you've been
master.
working hard, You mean every day on the set?
Not every day. It's like Charlie's Angels. I'm Charlie.
Right.
I'm the ninja master, and I've taught my grandson, his buddy, and his blonde crush how to be ninjas.
Right.
And in the dark of the night, within the shadows, not getting any credit for it, they right the wrongs of the world.
Superheroes.
So it's, like at most, the ordinary episodes, at most 3 days.
Right.
But
it keeps you in town.
It keeps me in town. I can't get out. They're the additional dialogue recording and all.
Now, where did you go? So you and Brad went somewhere in Italy.
We went to Milano, Venezia, Firenze, Roma, and
Gary
what's
said
so funny?
Gary said you got to. Gary said you got to ask.
I was in
George.
Rome. I was in Florence, but I didn't
You
get
didn't go to
I didn't go
Firenze?
crazy.
Gary said to me, you got
Veneta.
to ask George where he's been because his overpronunciation
He's
is.
he's Italian.
He's pronouncing them in the Italian.
Well, it's the arrogance of the English speaking.
Well,
we
you're talking
impose.
to us. You're talking to us now.
I believe that a place should be called by what the people of the place should want it to be called.
You want to know something about George? He's right. Because someone has got to keep the integrity of the language. The other day, I'm talking to someone, and I caught myself. I said, this was during the hurricane. And I said to my wife, they're carrying on like they're expecting a tsunami. And she goes, tsunami? I go, yeah, tsunami. Yeah, I said, Jesus Christ, George taught me that. And I'm actually saying it now, tsunami.
That's the way it's pronounced.
Hey, you're right.
Hey,
You're
George,
right.
where's the place you went to that starts with an S?
Sorrento. Oh, magical. A dreamy place. Paradisical. And your favorite hotel was in Amalfi.
Yeah, so you were there
Amalfi
too?
Coast. We were there too.
Is there an extra L in there? Amalfi.
Yeah.
Sorrento.
Amalfi.
There's a hard L in there.
Portofino. The Amalfi Coast is just absolutely dreamlike.
Yeah.
I fell in love with it right there.
Was that your first time?
No, I've been there many times.
Let me ask you something, because this is another thing, like with the Fred discussion. What do you do in these places that's so dreamy and so dreamlike?
Well, the places are dreamy, he said.
Yeah, but what do you do? You stand there and look at it?
No.
What do you do? Because I don't have any desire to go there.
Well, it depends on the place. The Amalfi Coast
Once I get to the Amalfi Coast, what do I do?
But the other parts
Let me hear your routine.
Well, in Florence, for you English speakers, we go to the museums. We saw David, Michelangelo's David. Oh,
you must have fainted.
Incredible.
Let me understand something.
And those statues with six packs, and oh my goodness.
So it's a big gay thing.
No, it's not gay.
You look at
it's
statues.
a human thing. For hundreds of years, people have recognized this.
So when you go to Florence, you sightsee. You walk
sightsee.
around and you look at things. You take pictures or no?
We take pictures of ourselves at those monuments.
At the location.
Yeah.
You stand next to David, and Brad takes a picture of you and David.
Right.
I
or
see.
we get people to take pictures of us by David. What's so funny about that?
Must be the greatest. Just you stand there with Brad.
And it's usually people that have sidled up to us and said, "Oh my!"
Right.
So we get them to take pictures of us.
Do you ever do funny photo? Like, do you ever give David a BJ and Brad?
You can't get close to him.
You can't.
They
Brad
have
jerked off to the Mona
They have
Lisa.
ropes there. We'd love to. I'm a tactile person, so yes, I'd
So these
love
vacations are great because you walk around and you look at things.
You take in culture.
The walking around part, it was 90 degrees in most of Italy. So, you're sweaty and grungy. But we had guides that we hired a guide, and they took us there when it was the down period. And we had more or less, like the Sistine Chapel. We saw it at about 8 o'clock at night.
I see.
But when you go down to the Amalfi Coast, you go there to relax. And
what do you do?
That's a more resort.
And we celebrated our
what do you do?
anniversary there.
Your wedding
Sorrento.
anniversary.
Yes.
Do you when you're
and
in
you
the
have an anniversary coming up soon.
When you're in the Amalfi Coast, so you and Brad are relaxing. You get a luxurious room. You share a bed
with a terrace.
Right. You have a terrace. And do the Italians give a hard time because you're sharing a bed with a man? Did anybody give you?
They
any
are
kind of...
very sophisticated.
They're
yes,
very open
it's a Catholic
society.
country, but we had no problems.
And so you get in there, and you guys, I guess, imagine you get into your swim trunks immediately to get down to the beach. Is that correct?
Well, they have a pool there.
They have a pool, so you're going to sit by the pool with Brad.
Yes.
Okay.
What do you swim in?
What do you mean? Our
Like,
swimming
what is-
trunks.
What are your trunks?
Are they
a Speedo?
Speedos,
I
or-
picture you in a Speedo.
I didn't. Yes, I do have a Speedo, but I did not take my Speedo.
What did you wear? What did you wear? Did you wear boxing trunks, boxers?
Boxer trunks.
Boxer
yes.
trunks.
Yes.
Like surf shorts. And what does Brad wear? Does he wear a Speedo?
Brad likes to keep his
wears a
T-shirt
muumuu.
on.
He keeps his T-shirt on because he's fat.
Well, he doesn't like me to use that word.
Right.
But he's substantial, yes.
Right. And what does he wear for trunks?
And he was so flattered. One of the Howard Stern fans asked, "Is that Brad?" And I said, "Yes, this is Brad. Meet Brad, Andrew or whatever his name was." And he says, "Oh, he's not as fat as you said he was."
Now, your point is,
Brad was very flattered.
Brad
by
used to
that.
be ripped like Michelangelo's David.
He was.
Yeah.
He was.
Yeah. And so you sit by the pool for how long? Hours?
No, we just sip a Campari or we discovered
What do you do?
limoncello.
You what? You
sip a Campari.
A Campari.
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 Campri.
You sip Campari. You have alcohol. That's an alcohol?
Yes, it's a liqueur. Yes,
the liqueur. You sit by the pool. You get down to the Amalfi
and
Coast.
we in the south of in
and you get a
Campania,
buzz on.
We discovered limoncello.
Right.
In the
Wonderful.
Campania, you say?
No, limoncello in Campania.
Oh,
That's a region.
Campania and limoncello.
Not in the cabana.
Where are we
Campania. Oh, you illiterate Americans, you. The region of the Amalfi Coast is where they. That's called Campania.
When you go
Campania.
to these places, do you research how to say the places because your pronunciation is dead on? Now, do you research that ahead of time?
I don't speak Italian, but
Right.
I try to get as close to it as possible. Brad has enormous difficulty with foreign languages.
Right.
Like in France, I taught him to at least say l'addition, s'il vous plaît. And when they bring it back to you and you look at it, you say merci. But when the way Brad pronounces it, it's really embarrassing. He gets it and he gets the bill and looks at it and says, mercy.
So you're embarrassed by that because you are so couth and he is so uncouth. He's so unpolished.
He's so American.
So let me get back to the Amalfi Coast.
Yes, Amalfi.
You get down to the pool. You guys hang out a little bit. You have a little of this Campari. I imagine you get a little buzz on.
Campari,
right?
yes.
It's Campari. Why are you calling it
I don't know. I'm trying to talk like that. Campari.
There are a lot of Italians that listen to you too.
Right.
They'll take umbrage with your pronunciation.
And you and Brad are there, and
then we
you drink a little. You get buzzed.
Oh yes, and then we get dressed and we.
Whoa!
One of the wonderful things about
you go back to the room.
Yes.
And now you're buzzed. You're in Italy. It's the most romantic place in Amalfi.
Yes.
Does Brad, I know Brad fucks you once a week or blows you once a week.
At least.
Right. Mostly it's once a week. And you want a lot more. When you're on vacation and you're in Amalfi, does he start blowing you when you get back to the room?
We may have a horizontal slow dance in bed.
Right. So you did. So
a slow dance.
So was it more romantic being away?
No wrestling.
Was it more relaxed on vacation?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
So you got blown a
absolutely.
couple of times during the 2-week period.
And then we get dressed and we walk around. And the wonderful thing about these villages, of Campania is the charm. I mean, the cobbled street, the
That's what
narrow
I'm saying. I mean, did he
alleyways.
at least get a little romantic? I mean,
Yes.
a little more because you're in the same room.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You get back from the pool. You got the Campari.
You're hanging around all
And
day.
we
You're
find a-
lit.
rinse down on a shower.
Exactly.
Right. And then you walk in the room in your robe.
We're in the land of Caesar. Blow me.
Oh yeah, we went to Pompeii, and I recited from Julius Caesar in the forum there, and there again.
What did you do?
There was another. There was another.
You got
Stern
up on
fan.
stage.
Weenie, weedy, wiki.
Did you do Mark Anthony's speech?
No, I did Cassius's speech.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Well, let me understand this because I'm not following along. You're telling me you went to a certain place where there was a theater, An outdoor
Pompeii,
theater.
the ruins of
Right.
Pompeii.
And all of a sudden, you were moved by this because you are an actor. You got up and started to do a scene for whoever was
From
there.
Julius Caesar.
Right. This was not a paid
It
performance.
was no. It wasn't. There were just a scattering of people there. This was near the end of the day.
Did other people notice?
The people.
Oh, they did. I got applause from up in the.
Anybody try to have you put in a straitjacket? So you got up and you started.
No, they asked for autographs.
What did you
after
begin
that.
to recite? Let me hear what you did.
I know that virtue to be in you, Brutus, as well as I do know your outward favor. Well, honor is the subject of my story. I do not know what you and other men think of this life, but as for my single self, I had as lief not be as live to be in awe of I myself.
So you were doing this, and Brad is sitting there watching you.
Is he recording this?
How long did that go on?
No, he's rolling his eyes.
How long did that go on?
Just a few minutes.
A few minutes, I
Yeah.
see.
No,
Brad,
I
Brad
didn't get
sat
the
there
whole
and ate
performance.
M&Ms. So how many times did you guys have sex over the vacation, the 2-week period, would you say? I mean, a ballpark.
Well, we made love almost every evening.
Oh, wow.
Oh, see?
Wow.
It may not have been sex.
What does that mean?
What was that?
That was a tape of you two.
You're mine. You're my meat. You're my possession.
So there wasn't a lot of sex, even on the. There was.
There was.
There was
More than one a week.
And did you say to him, "Hey, Brad, why can't we maintain this at home?"
Well, at home we have schedules,
right?
So and Brad is very schedule conscious, and
Right.
he's detail oriented. This has got to be done. But when you listen to the experience that Fred had, it really makes you aware of how precious,
Of course.
these moments. So I'm so grateful to this moment, sharing it with you and your listening audience. I mean, there's nothing I'd enjoy more than waking up early in the morning. Actually, this morning wasn't difficult to wake up because I was jet lagged and I was staring at the ceiling.
It's funny. I was thinking of you
2:30.
this morning. I knew you were on the show, of course, and I woke up and I was just cursing out, because it was 4 o'clock in the morning, and I was like, oh, I'm so fucking tired. And I went, I bet you George. I mean, George is an older guy. I bet you he's fucking beside himself that he's even getting up this early. But
I was
full of
wide
pep,
awake,
ready to go.
Just wait until tomorrow. And I think that's the second day is when it usually hits.
Jitters, huh?
But I'm fine today.
People don't
right
realize
now.
how old you are and how good a shape you are.
Well, I try to maintain myself, and it's because we're healthy that we can do what we can do.
Yeah.
I mean, and doing Italy, like I see all these.
Did your
senior
feet hurt? I know
citizens.
you got that problem with your feet.
I have problems with my feet, but if you do it, intelligently. I mean, I sit down periodically.
Right.
I love going up and down those steps because I work on my thigh muscles.
Is there anything we can do about your feet, though, so they don't hurt you?
Well, I can get surgery again, but there's no guarantee, according
Really?
to the doctor.
Yeah, fuck it.
I mean,
He's got the weirdest feet you ever saw.
I know. They look
6
like
months
alien
out of the
feet.
year, I'd be gone.
I can't even believe you fit into shoes with those feet.
Oh, I'm fine.
Yeah.
I used to run marathons with
I know.
that feet.
Wow.
That foot.
Those feet.
They both look the
Well,
same, George.
okay, both of them.
How do you stay thin if you don't run anymore? What do you do? You just walk around?
I walk and I work out with weights and so forth.
Right.
Fitness center, the whole thing.
Okay. Well, anyway, George is with us for the whole week. For those of you who are George Takei fans, and that's pretty much everyone.
It's great being here with you.
Hey, by the way, speaking of some of them, William Shatner's calling in at 7.
Is that right?
The real William Shatner.
It's going on.
He's coming. He's calling.
Oh, he's coming in.
He's calling.
He's calling in.
Oh.
He'll be on the
Bill
phone.
is.
Bill, yeah.
Oh, what do you know?
And
I think this is a setup, right?
No, actually not. Actually not. It's really him.
He said it's the real William Shatner.
Not only is it the
Yes,
real...
I know the meaning of the word real on this show.
No, it really is. It really is.
How are we going to convince George?
Really, really, really is. I know, yes.
He was scheduled to call and he's promoting something, and you were, of course, scheduled to be. It wasn't a setup.
If you got him in the studio,
that would be
then
something.
I would believe it.
Right.
Because you did have him
Maybe even
in the
not
studio
then.
when I phoned in once. You
Right.
got me to phone in. But when you have people phoning in,
No, but
I
really-
know that it's a real one.
No,
yes.
it'll really be him. You'll see.
Here's your Shatner stuff. So new book, new album. You can see all the songs that he covers there, including Space Cowboy, Rocket Man, Space Oddity. He does a Bohemian Rhapsody.
Rocket Man's old. He did Rocket Man years ago.
This is a new Rocket Man.
Yeah. So supposedly, he's earned about $600 million from that Priceline.com deal.
Is that true?
Well, that stock at one point was trading at obviously at $2 a share. It's now, when I looked it up on Thursday, it was trading at $526 a share.
Gare.
Priceline?
Gare.
$526 a share.
Wow.
He was very upset that shit my dad says was canceled after a year. Wasn't sure why. So he's treated like a hero when he goes to the Comic-Con conventions. He supposedly charges
Why? Because of Star Trek?
Yeah, he supposedly charges $75 for an autograph and $95 to pose for a picture with a fan, for a professional picture with a fan. You know, he has that Shatner Raw Nerve. It's that interview show he does on Bio.
Right.
He interviewed one of the snipers from Washington, D.C., and that whole thing, which was like a big get. Like, you know, no news agency was even able to get them.
Must have been a Star Trek fan.
He says he's finally admitted that he thinks he's too old to be in J.J. Abrams' Star Trek movies. He doesn't think it would work. He set his principal's car on fire in high school, and he also said he was very lonely growing up. And his father didn't want him to become an actor. And he just turned 80. It's amazing.
William Shatner is a very big star. He is always promoting something.
He's a hardworking man.
And despite what George thinks, George was booked to come here, and William Shatner was booked. I did not do any kind of setup.
This was not a plan.
Yeah. Bill.
Howard, that conversation was unbelievable.
You know, isn't that something?
That is a classic, man. That is unbelievable.
It is very funny. In fact, it's odd because I looked over and, you know, and honestly, I did not plan it this way, but George is here. You know, he comes in and does announcing for us. I didn't plan it, and he was laughing at that, and
well,
you were
he
laughing.
doesn't even think the real William Shatner will be calling in.
George, I assure you it's the real William Shatner.
I know. He sounds very real.
Here we go again.
Here we go again.
Yeah, well, you know.
You're very good, Bill. I'll play along.
Hey,
no, it really is Bill.
Yes, of course it is.
It is. It's Bill.
Hi, Bill. How are you?
The cops are after me. Open the studio with you. I have to get in there.
George, do you not believe that's William Shatner?
What? No, it sounds very much like it.
It is.
Yes.
It is him. It is the real William Shatner.
It's the real one.
It
is
the real one.
I love the real one.
Bill, I'm sitting here, Mr. Shatner. I'm sitting here reading that you are promoting a brand new record album.
Yes, I'm calling you. I mean, you and I are buddies. I haven't seen you in a long time.
I know.
And I would call you at any time, but not at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Right, but what I'm saying is, why are you on? I'm looking at the different songs you recorded on the new album.
Unbelievable.
Why are you doing Rocket Man again? You've done that already.
I know.
Was it time to bring that up again?
Exactly.
What was wrong?
So that, but that isn't the only song. My God, man, Ian Pace is on the record. It's called "Seeking Major Tom," and it drops October the 11th. And Bootsy Collins and Patrick Moraz. Hey, Brad Paisley, Sheryl Crow, and Lyle Lovett are on the record. There's never been a collection of musicians that have been on one record. Ernie Watts, Warren Haynes.
But why did you record Rocket Man a second time? I mean,
Richie Blackmore, Candace Knight. Are you kidding me?
Is Rocket Man like the only song you know?
Frampton, John Welton, Wayne Kramer, Carmen Appice. Come on, all these people.
Carmen Appice.
Appice, yes.
What did he just say?
Appice, but I'm not sure. Maybe he's right. Bill.
Has Carmen ever told you how to pronounce his name?
Bill, why?
Has Carmen ever asked you to pronounce his name?
No.
No, me neither. So how do you know?
I don't know. Bill.
How do you pronounce Nick Valenci?
Valenci?
Yeah.
How do you
Edgar
pronounce
Froh.
sabotage?
Dave Davies? That's why.
What about sabotage? How do you say sabotage? Which do you say, honestly, Bill? Sabotage or sabotage?
That's the way. I'm calling you from Toronto, and it's sabotage up here.
So, where did you learn the expression, my record drops?
Yeah, that was interesting.
And why does it drop October 4th, October the 11th on a Tuesday, and the book, Shatner Rules, which is a great book about the power of saying yes, drops October 4th. Why do they use those terms?
Did you write this book, Bill?
Why on a Tuesday?
Bill, did you write the book, or do you? You have so many books out.
I wrote the book.
You
Who
wrote
else could write the book?
Right.
This is not a novel, though. It doesn't sound like a novel.
No, it's a book about things that I've done and the power of saying yes.
Bill, why do you work so hard? I'm serious. I'm not making a joke.
No, all right. So I'll be serious.
Why? What is this with the books and the
DVD of the captains on the 18th and a one-man show on the 19th?
Yeah, I don't even know where to begin asking you about these things. What a DVD of the captains?
Well, I directed a terrific documentary. Got great notices. We opened it on the aircraft carrier, the aircraft carrier, the Intrepid, a couple of months ago. The sun is setting in the New York harbor, and there's a huge screen on the flight deck of the Intrepid. 1,000 people are sitting there watching the documentary, and the skyline of New York behind. Can you imagine the beauty?
Whoa.
And there's a DVD of that very well-received film called The Captains dropping on the 18th.
Now, the DVD is dropping.
That's right. So there's a record.
My question, Bill.
A record, a book, a DVD, and the one-man show.
My question is this.
Yes.
You still love working, obviously, because you're involved in all these projects. And yet I read, and tell me if this is true, and this is something that we went over a long time ago. The Toronto Sun reported that Mr. William Shatner made $600 million from his decision to take Priceline.com stock as payment to the companies, as payment for the company when they hired him as a pitchman.
You know, all right, let me explain that. You know, I'm the spokesman for Priceline.com.
Right.
All right.
And they paid you in stock.
They paid me in stock a long time ago.
And the stock
then there was the bubble.
Yes.
Right. And the bubble went up, and the bubble crashed.
Right.
So the stock came out at, I've forgotten, $1. It went to hundreds of dollars.
Right.
And before the people involved who had stock could get rid of the stock, could sell the stock, the bubble burst.
Yes.
It was worth pennies.
And what is the stock worth today?
I think $500-600.
$526 a share.
Right.
Really?
So everybody got rid of the stock at pennies.
Oh, so you got rid of yours?
Of course, everybody did.
But why not?
And then you went back as a spokesperson for money.
Right.
Well, we continued. Yeah. Well, you know, they paid me per year.
Buy high and sell low.
Yes, but Bill, why didn't you
put your foot in that guy's mouth?
Have you guys gotten any closer to liking each other? Any
I love George. Are you serious?
And I love you too. Don't we just exude?
I love the difference.
I mean, it's so crazy.
I have pleasure in the theory of love, and your practice of love is different from mine.
Do you know George?
There are psychotic people that you love as well, don't you?
That's right. There are iconic people that we love together. That's true.
Have you guys ever run into each other anywhere?
No, the only way he'd run into me is with a car.
Did you
run into me last month?
Did I run into you last month?
Yes.
No.
Oh my.
There you are. This is the real Bill Shatner.
So what happened,
the
George?
real.
Let me ask you something.
What
Wait a second. You were at that Las Vegas
that's
convention.
absurd. Did I run into you? No, that's the real Shatner. George, that's absurd.
Did you see Bill Shatner last month?
I did. At
Where
a
did
Star
you
Trek convention
at a Star
in
Trek
Las Vegas, and we crossed in the hallway. We crossed paths,
Bill didn't even notice you.
I didn't notice him. It was the real Bill, the very real flesh and blood Bill.
Did you say hello?
Who said hi, George? And I looked, because I was in conversation. And I looked and I said, "Oh, hi, Bill," and we were like ships in the night.
That was it.
Yeah, that was it.
Bill, do you not remember that?
Well, I was directing a documentary for 5 days called the documentary is called Fanatics, and it's a look at why fans come to conventions, and it's going to be another, I think, a terrific film that once we finish editing it.
But Bill,
and I was immersed as a director in a film. I was paying attention to nobody.
So in other words, you don't remember running into George at all?
No, actually I don't, and that's the real Bill.
I love that you two have this feud. I love it.
I don't have a feud. I don't know what's the matter with George.
He only thinks I'm psychotic, and he doesn't understand me.
But George, But George, that makes you interesting. Your psychoses make you interesting.
So you two did, in fact, run into each other, but it was such a non-event. Did you think
Well, he was the one that recognized me and said, "Hi, George." You know, the convention hall hallways, they're really wide hallways, and I had about 3 or 4 people around me.
Yeah, sycophants, I believe they call them.
Sycophants.
Right.
No, they were the people that, were with the convention, and they, hustle.
Do you
from
resent
one
that
place
Bill
to-
gets way more money for his appearance?
No. He was the star of the show.
Do you
he
know
was
that
Captain Kirk?
Bill, is it true that you get $75 for an autograph and $95 to pose for professional photos with fans?
We don't do that kind of thing.
You don't?
Well, I mean, professionally, that's a sort of a cheap thing that people.
But there was this whole wait a minute, Bill,
Yeah.
because there was this whole list of charges that were put into an ad we were reading.
I can't control those ads. I mean, my hands are tied.
George,
all I can do is
A genuine Bill
publicity
Shatner
for
does
a book
that.
called. All I can do is conduct publicity for a book called Shatner Rules. Shatner Rules, October 4th.
George, what do you charge for your autograph?
I think no, I don't charge. It's the convention that charges it. I think they charge 45.
45. So Bill gets 75. Twice. Wow.
But remember, there was also like a private reception with Bill for like $500.
What has this turned into?
I don't know. I'm just trying to find out what's
Howard Stern got $100 million.
Let's talk about that.
Do you notice how cheap the programming is?
Bill, my point is you don't have to work that hard. That was what I was saying. You have a lot of money.
Point. I don't. But by the same token, Howard, you're doing, what, 5 a week?
No,
3.
3.
Oh, really? What's happening on the other 2 days?
I'm relaxing.
What are you doing?
I'm resting up.
Right. With your feet elevated because your ankles are swollen.
Oh, they actually are. You have no idea.
Well, I mean, cut some hair. I mean, God, why are you working so hard, Howard?
I'm not, actually.
You got $100 million. The rest of us are running around trying to sign an autograph.
In other words, your point is it isn't about the money. You enjoy working.
Listen, this book is sensitive.
All right, the book is called Shatner Rules.
The record is unbelievable.
Shatner Rules. Your guy.
I don't believe it. That's how unbelievable it is.
What don't you believe?
What don't you believe?
He said it was unbelievable, so I'm agreeing with him.
Bill Shatner's new book, Shatner Rules, your guide to understanding the Shatner verse, so to speak, and the world at large, is in stores October 4th. Bill,
it drops.
It drops.
And that's exactly
with a
right.
thud.
And what drops, Howard, what drops October the 11th?
Bill's new album, Seeking Major Tom, hits stores October 11th. I haven't heard any of the tracks, but it does.
How come we're not playing tracks?
I don't have it.
You don't have it yet, but it's coming out. It'll be out there in the next few days.
Well, will you come in and sing a song
I'm
for
coming
us?
to New York. I'm coming to New York to do publicity for it, and you'll drop a song.
And I don't think George will be here.
I don't think I'll come then.
You want to be here when George is here.
I got to be there when George is there.
Right. Well, let me just tell you, I'll update you on George since you guys never talked. George just got back from the Amalfi Coast. He went on a romantic 2 weeks with his husband, Brad.
Oh, great! That's the gentleman he married without inviting me.
Right.
That's right.
You did get an invitation, Brad, Bill.
See, now there.
And you made a big issue of
I've been
it.
talking about.
And by the way, Bill,
He's confusing me with Brad, and that's the problem.
And would you have ever made love to William Shatner if he announced that he was gay?
I love him. I said on the air publicly, I love Bill Shatner.
Yes, but
Bill said
what you say in
publicly
public-
on the air that he thinks I have a psychosis.
All right.
Yes. Well,
Yes.
I think that hasn't got much to do with love. You can love a person with a psychosis.
Well, there's something wrong with that person then.
I'm not saying I'm not psychotic. I'm saying you're psychotic.
Bill, also, the TV comedy, The Shit My Dad Says, was canceled. What happened there?
I don't know. We had 11 million people watching. We were in the top 20.
That's a hit.
I think that the things that CBS had to do with 2.5 Men, and by the way, I'm doing the the Charlie Sheen roast on Monday. I'm appearing on the roast. It's very, very funny.
It's funny, but it's sort of sad, isn't it?
Well, I didn't get a feeling of sadness there. He was up and at 'em, and they had some really fun people to mock him. And then
you know what? But Bill, seriously, in your career, you've been very wise. When you latch onto something good, you go with it. You milk it. You did.
Well, that's showbiz. You never know when the next successful.
You're right, and you're grateful for when you get a hit show because you know how difficult it is.
Yep.
Do you look at a young punk like Charlie Sheen and go, you know what, son, you pissed away a great opportunity. Do you want to just shake this guy?
Well,
honestly,
I think a lot of people wanted to shake Charlie. He's very talented. He's a personable guy. He comes from a wonderful theatrical family, if you will, and he got caught up. But there's a crazy intelligence there somewhere that even when he was on his tirades, he was having fun and he was coining phrases, and we still talk about it. And so he had an opportunity. He was there 8 years. I presume he saved some money. I mean, he was being paid so much.
Right. But when you see a guy like that spin out of control, you know that it's like, you know what, you should count your blessings sometimes and say, wow, I'm a lucky guy. And a lot of people in show business would give their left arm for a job like that.
And the left thing that dangles between their legs.
That's right. And so you sat there and you roasted him. Now, what do? They write jokes for you and you sit there and read them?
That's a terrible way of putting it. First of all, you're standing.
Right.
Essentially, they write material and you deliver it. I had Michael Tyson on my left and Steve-O on my right when I was sitting on the desk. I had more damn fun.
And Mike Tyson a reasonable guy, or?
Oh, we started discussing philosophy on the dais in front of 1,000 people.
I would have liked to have heard that.
Oh, that was an incredible conversation. I would love to have talked to him.
We have a lot to catch up on because I haven't seen you in a while. Someone told me this in 2011, this year. You and your wife returned home from a trip, and someone had poisoned your dog. Or dogs.
Somebody hadn't. It was the help that had put down poison for the snails, and we can't have poison on the ground. So the gardeners know that they got to do green stuff and take care of snails for the green. Somehow, this person had sprinkled snail poison to get rid of snails, and the dogs ate it. Yes, my dogs were poisoned, and happenstance was I was landing at the very moment they were being brought into an emergency hospital. I was landing in LAX. I rushed over there, and in a couple of days, with their intensive care, we saved both dogs.
Oh, you did?
That's wonderful.
Someone told me you originally reported to the police that you suspected George Takei did this.
I didn't think George would use poison. I think George would.
I love you too much.
Spill his seed all over my.
Do you seriously? That's a very traumatic thing, actually.
Oh my God! My dogs are my wife and I. Our dogs are our kids. I mean, it was horrible.
And you know what else I learned about you? I didn't know you were very close with Sandra Bullock and Jesse James. Those are your good friends.
I was at their wedding.
How does that happen?
How do
you know them?
Is your question?
No, how do you know? How do you have such a close relationship with
Are
them?
you friends with Jesse or Sandra?
Both of them are my closest bosom friends. I don't have any better friends than Jesse and Sandra.
Is that true?
No.
Oh, but what? But
I did 2 movies with Sandra.
Right.
I see. So you were invited to the wedding.
Yeah. I didn't know Jesse, and you talk about pissed opportunity, but you more than anyone knows what it's like to be can conceive what it's like to be in somebody else's motorcycle boots. You don't know what the dynamics are and what each personality is doing.
I'm sure you said to yourself at the wedding, even these two don't belong together. If ever there was a mismatch.
At first glance, no, it doesn't seem like it. But who knows what Sandra's thinking? This intense guy, bad boy. I mean, how attractive that must have been. She was deeply in love with him, as I'm sure he was with her, because she's a very lovable person.
Bill, this new album you did, do you feel a connection to these songs, or does a producer come to you and say...
No, you have to understand, Seeking Major Tom... my idea of what happened to Major Tom from Space Oddity. What happened to Major Tom when he stepped out of that capsule? And I believe he walked on the moon. I believe he thought about his wife through Rocket Man, and she became, she blinded me with science. He's a space cowboy. He goes to heaven. In the Sinatra song, he goes to hell with Iron Man. I mean, it's a monumental record that is going to knock you off your socks. What?
It's a concept album.
It's a concept album with 20 songs that I think are stupendous.
I'm just wondering if Bill picks these songs or some producer. I'm assuming.
Whose idea was
it? Whose idea was this?
Mine. Good, bad, or indifferent. If you laugh at it, it's my problem. If you love it the way I think you will, it's my advantage.
Did you set fire to your principal's car in high school? That's the true story?
Yes.
Were you an angry man?
Well, he strapped the hell out of me. That's the time when they had, and this is all in the book, which is Drops October 4th. It's called.
Where are you right now, by the way? Where are you right now? Where are you right now?
I'm in a hotel room in Toronto.
With your wife?
Yes.
What is she wearing?
She's wearing a silk negligee, and her long golden hair spills gently across her shoulders.
Did you make love to your wife last night in Toronto?
I never not make love to my wife one way or another.
No, the reason I bring it up is George was saying earlier that him and Brad,
That's bad English.
I know. I'm sorry. I'm correcting myself. Brad and George make love only once a week on Sunday.
Well,
it's only blowjobs.
What else?
Well, there's anal.
You and I went into the homo room and we began to talk.
That's true. But seriously,
that's good for
your love life still?
It's good for his prostate. No, I don't have any trouble with my prostate either.
How often do you and your beautiful wife make love?
So, I mean, it is uncountable. Sometimes as quickly as a rabbit might. You know what lions do on the veldt?
No, is the lovemaking as much as it used to be, or
more passionate and more loving and?
I'm glad to hear that.
And sweeter. That's what beautiful love is, Howard. These are things I need.
I'm glad that you and George have that in your life. I really am.
Well, I'm sorry that you don't.
I do.
Well, there you are.
I didn't say I didn't.
How many times do you make love to your wife?
I make love to my wife as often as possible, but I masturbated last night.
Well, wait a minute. That made what, once a month?
I masturbated to babysitter porn last night. I'll be honest.
Well, that's not good for your wife.
You still masturbate, George?
Yes.
You do. How often?
Just when I, get the urge.
George, you're tongue-tied.
Well, what about you, Bill?
And that's
Bill,
because he made love to Brad.
Bill, do you still masturbate?
I can't find it.
Bill's new book, Mr. William Shatner, I should say. The new book. Before I go into the plug, why did you burn down your principal? Your principal would strap you?
Yeah, in those days, if you did something wrong, they'd ask you to hold out your hand, and they'd lay into you with a rubber strap. So my little group of people were so antagonized, we wanted revenge.
And the police never arrested you for this?
They didn't know I did it.
Wow. Isn't that something?
So you're turning yourself in. It's because the statute of limitations has run out.
The police are all dead of old age.
And the principal, when you burned down his car, was it the satisfaction that you really were after?
He was raised to sainthood somewhere along the line.
No, but seriously, did you get satisfaction from it?
I think we lit a little fire and it didn't catch, and we just ran away. So.
All right, I was saying you're some badass. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Listen, Bill. Let me just say this. William Shatner's new book, Shatner Rules, Your Guide to Understanding the Shatnerverse and the World at Large, is in stores October 4th.
The power of saying yes.
So
now, what do you mean by that?
Yeah.
What do you say yes to?
Look, here's a perfect opportunity. Years ago, uncountable years ago, somebody said, be on the Howard Stern show. And I was warned not to go. I mean, it's terrible. He'll rip you apart. When I said yes. In that time, Robin, you were there.
Yes.
Over the years, 20 years. It's been a lot more. It's been a long, long time you and I have known each other. What would have happened if I had said no? All this, and this morning would have not have happened.
In other words, sometimes being open-minded and saying yes to a new opportunity can lead to something.
Exactly, and even if it doesn't, to leave yourself open to life is positive. To say no and enclose yourself in, and that's the tendency as you get older, is the wrong idea. And my book, in a humorous and insightful way, tries to say that.
So this is a philosophy book. In other words, your take on life, what you've learned in your years.
But it's also a funny book.
Yeah, and yet with all of this philosophy, you and George can't get together.
And
It's sad.
somehow you can't say yes to an
George.
apology.
Right.
What are you talking about?
You got an invitation and you made up a story just because you had your talk show coming, and you went up and down the media saying that I didn't send you an invitation, which is a blatant falsehood.
All right, if you say so, George.
I was amused by you.
Oh, well, that's great. I seek to amuse people, and if I'm amusing, that's great.
I love that you guys have like a feud because you know what? Everything's a little too perfect in your lives. You know what I mean? It's just kind of nice.
We're human. There's no perfection.
And I think George will like both the record and the book. And if he comes,
will you read the book, George?
Well, Brad might drop it on me.
On your head while you're there.
Bill might drop it on you. But anyway, so Bill,
yes,
Mr. Shatner, come see us when you're in town, please.
Howard, we'll do it again in person. I love to visit you, and I'll be in New York doing publicity for all this as well, and I'll look forward to seeing you in person.
And we will talk about your father who didn't want you to become an actor. We will talk about your lonely days in high school. We'll talk about how you were bullied and how lonely you were.
Now, if George knew all these things, he might have some compassion.
Well, George can learn about
sympathy for him.
in the Shatner rules.
And I'm interested in your philosophy.
Well, let's talk about it.
All right, very good. All right. Thanks for calling.
George, hello, and pleasure to talk to you. The two of you guys, I can't wait to see you in early October.
And I can't
think
wait.
You are genuine. Yes, you are the real, genuine Bill.
What is it, Gary?
Hey, all the guys in the office wanted to know if you would ask them about the Schwarzenegger story.
Oh, yeah. Hey, yeah, I got to ask you about that. I almost forgot. Here's the story I heard.
Yeah.
You were somewhere having breakfast or lunch. I don't know what it was.
That's true.
Okay. You were having breakfast or lunch. Arnold Schwarzenegger was at a table.
That's right. How do you know all this?
Because I read about it.
How the heck did you
But this is crazy. William Shatner goes up to say hello to Arnold Schwarzenegger. He was excited to say hello. You know how people in show business will do that, even though
he does it. I've seen him working at a restaurant. He goes up and talks to anybody who's famous.
And Arnold Schwarzenegger blew off William Shatner. Like,
how?
Treated him like shit.
Really? No.
Yeah.
He did. I don't wonder where you read that.
I read it all over the place, actually. And that Arnold Schwarzenegger afterwards had a conversation with his son. And he goes, "Who the hell was that?"
Oh,
well, he might have said that. He might have said that.
And the guy goes, "Dad, that's the captain. It's William Shatner." And he listed all your TV credits, everything. And Arnold goes, "I don't know who that is."
Oh,
and
it's possible. Why not? I mean, he doesn't know anything about politics. Why would he know something about me?
I know Arnold Schwarzenegger. I've had many conversations with him.
Really? It must have been a very slow-paced conversation.
Bill, what happened? What is the truth of what happened there?
Well, the area was an area I used to take my girls, my own children, these many years ago. Well, it turns out that my grandchildren and my kids and Elizabeth and I all went to the same place the other week. It was a magical place where I took my kids. I'm taking my grandkids, and we're sitting around eating and. Over at the next table is Arnold and his family. They're doing the same thing. It's like a family place. Right. So after my kids left, they went their way. Lizzie and I were going home. I dropped over to the table and said, "Hello."
Yeah, Bill Shatner.
Yeah, and he kind of vaguely, I thought he might not have recognized me. He didn't blow me off. He shook my head, "Oh, hello," and then I went my way. But for you to know that story is like, I'm trying to figure out
how many of his kids were at the table?
Arnold's?
Yeah.
Well, he had his son there, and they were separated by about a yard. I mean, you're sitting beside your son, and you're separated by a yard. I thought that was strange. Yeah. And as I was leaving, 3 or 4 very muscular guys carrying food were on their way back to that table. I sort of looked behind me as they joined him, and that was all that took place. Now, how the heck do you know that?
Because it was in the newspaper, and but
who could have reported that? Everything.
Gary, where do we read that? It was crazy. And then what it said in the paper, what the point of the story was, that Arnold, I guess they had Arnold's conversation with his son afterwards. I guess someone overheard it.
No, we got it from a kid that was sitting at the next table, blogged the whole thing.
Oh, right.
Sitting at the next table?
Some kid witnessed the whole thing and blogged it.
Oh, for God's sakes.
And he blogged the conversation afterwards, and it was terribly awkward, they said, where Arnold was like, I don't know.
No, it wasn't. It was a guy's, I thought, there's Arnold Schwarzenegger. I've met him on 1 or 2 occasions, as many as I've met George, I think, and I went over just to say hello.
Can I tell you something?
That didn't penetrate.
But it seems like it was sort of weird, because I never ever go over to somebody's table. The one time I did, I was with my wife. We're at a restaurant, and who's sitting there? Heath Ledger at the time with his wife. And so I was a big fan of his performance in Batman, where he played the Joker, you remember, and I thought he was great in Brokeback Mountain.
Yeah, he was.
And, my wife's there, and I wanted to be a big shot. I wanted to, she goes, oh, don't you know him? I go,
play that game.
I don't know him, but I know Michelle Williams. She was on my show, and I could go over and say hello, but I don't do that kind of thing. She goes, oh, it'd be great just to tell him what we thought of, Brokeback Mountain. I go, what the fuck? Let me go do this. Well, I walk over. This guy shoots me a look like I'm interrupting his dinner. I felt like the biggest jack-off on the planet. And I was like, oh, my God, this guy gave me the blow-off in front of my then-girlfriend. And I'm like, I must look like such a tool.
Well, no,
I was embarrassed.
Well, yes, but that's a good experience for you, because it happens so rarely.
No, I would never do it again.
Well, the thing that is appalling to me is this took place in 5 seconds. Hello, Mr. Schwarzenegger, how are you? Oh, and he sticks out a hand, and I thought, he's overwhelmed with sorrow anyway,
right.
and dulled by the events, and I just went on my way. I think I was alone, because the kids had gone off. Liz had gone to buy ice cream for them, and I was going to get the car. I was alone.
So it didn't affect you in an emotional way, like where you said, "Oh my God!"
No, but in the privacy of the car, when my wife came to the car as we were leaving, I said to her in the privacy of the car, "This is what happened," and exactly what you've just described. I explained to her. That's the only verbal explanation of what happened, and for you to tell me that this whole event, it was on the blog,
right?
Is like, I mean, I don't want to get out of this hotel room.
I know people are watching everything, but you know what? It's really true, though. I find those kinds of things embarrassing, because I think because you're in show business, you expect that someone is going to give you a certain conversation. And then when they don't, you feel like a dick.
Well, I think that you usually get a pretty decent reception when you walk up to people, right, Bill?
Why are you conditioning a pretty decent? Why not say
warm,
an
enthusiastic and warm reception?
Listen, I got to tell you something. I don't go up to anybody. I have been at parties where I remember the first time it happened to me. I was at a party in Hollywood, and Rod Stewart was sitting there with his then wife, the blonde Rachel Hunter. And they said, and he's maybe 5 feet away from, 20 feet away from me, something like that. Someone walks up and goes, Rod Stewart would like to meet with you. Why don't you come over here? I go, well, I'm not going anywhere. Let him get off his fat ass.
That's a new one.
I said, tell him to come over here and meet with me. I mean, and then one time that happened, I think, with Britney Spears. I was talking to someone. I was at a Grammy party. Miss Britney Spears would like to meet you. I said, well, tell her to come on over.
That's
what is
hysterical.
Have you ever seen that?
No, I've never heard. That's a new one.
So that's why I stay to myself. I'm not looking to bother anyone. The one time I did it was a disaster.
Well, I've seen Bill, as I said, in a restaurant, and he walked right up to Tom Selleck and said, hey, I'm William Shatner. And they had a lovely conversation.
Really?
Tom and I, but I know Tom for some years.
Well, I just witnessed you going up and saying hello.
So with the philosophy of your book.
I would have gone up and said hello.
But Bill, with the philosophy of your book, So you're saying that's saying yes to say you had a thought.
But that's exactly right. That's exactly right. If, for example, this very incident could have been a small chapter in rather than saying I'm not going up there, I'm not going to visit him, I'm retreating. What the hell? What difference does it make whether he recognized me or not? I don't give a shit. You know.
Yes, but don't you think saying yes in certain instances you could be a nudge? In other words, like sometimes your fans.
Be a nudge. You're going to be an idiot. You're going to make an ass of yourself.
So are you encouraging your fans to just walk up to you when you're eating dinner?
No.
Should they say yes to meeting you?
Stay away. I'll be very rude. But what I am encouraging people to do is to say yes to opportunity.
Right.
And I got an honorary degree from McGill recently, and part of the speech, the last few lines, were I was encouraging the students to take their own path and not to be afraid of making asses of themselves. I said, don't be afraid of making an ass of yourself. I do it all the time, and look what I got.
Yeah, but don't you know that advice can sometimes go haywire in the wrong hands? Because some people have no ability to know when they should not say yes.
Of course, and that's the chance you take, and that's what's going to happen. But like walking and falling, you got to get up and keep going.
William Shatner's new book is Shatner Rules: Your Guide to Understanding the Shatnerverse and the World at Large. It's in stores October 4th, or drops, as Bill says. And Bill's new album, Seeking Major Tom, hits stores October 11th. Thanks, Bill.
Thank you, man.
The great Bill Shatner.
George, thanks for talking to me.
You take care.
Live
long and prosper.
Bye, Bill.
Get enthusiastic, Robin.
I will.
All right. Bye-bye, everybody.
Well, there's your boyfriend, Bill Shatner.
He's living long.
Yep.
And prospering.
You know what I wanted to ask him? You know, Leonard announced that this last convention was his last one.
Right.
Well, Bill ain't giving that
up. Not $95 an autograph.
No. He was embarrassed, I think, by that. Right, George?
He never fessed up to it.
No.
Never did.
No.
Well, he does it, and I can vouch for that. I might even blog about that.
Is it true that he charges $500 for a personal experience with him?
You know, these convention organizers know the really fanatical, devout fans with some money. And so they charge not only for these private sessions with Bill Shatner, but backstage passes where, you know, they just mill around backstage and they pay like $200 or $300.
Oh, yeah.
If I want a personal experience with you, what do they charge?
If you want to have a personal experience with me?
Yeah.
Oh, thousands.
No, seriously. No, seriously. But...
Well, you're having one right now.
It's fabulous, I can't tell you. Well, look, it's
no,
fantastic.
That is the genuine one. I believe this was the real one.
Yeah,
but
that was William Shatner.
Don't think you're going to pull my leg again with
Never. Do you remember actual dialogue when you do a show like Star Trek years ago? Does the dialogue stay with you, or you forget it right after you do it?
There are some dialogue that people keep reminding you that you said it.
And you don't have any recollection of it?
Oh, no, I have recollection because I did say it.
Oh, okay.
Target that explosion and fire.
Right.
Really?
So you don't, but you don't retain all this stuff. When you go on set, is the worst mistake an actor can make not to be prepared with his lines?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you know, it's valuable, precious time. There are, 100 people on the set there, all the crew people.
Have you seen that, where a guy will come on set and he doesn't know his lines?
I have. Or they're so nervous that they can't get it out.
Oh, I see. Oh, well, that you could excuse.
That you can excuse.
But not to know your
line.
line.
Very unprofessional not to have done your homework.
So what do they do? Does the director pull them aside and say, "Listen, you didn't do your homework. What is this?"
Well, you know, they need to work with the guy because they need to get the show done. So he tries to coddle them and say, well, you know, this is a situation, and this is what you want, or this is what you don't want, and you know,
it's possible, though, in a long monologue, you could forget a line, and you'll excuse that once, maybe twice, but not on a consistent basis, right?
If it's a key line and it's a important role, they're usually cast with professionals who, you know, who are professionals.
Shatner always came prepared?
Shatner was good at when he really, wasn't sure of some line. He knew how to improvise
so that he'd get through it.
Yeah, with the appropriate kind of words.
Is that unprofessional to improvise because the other actor is waiting for a cue?
Right.
So you're calling him unprofessional.
Well, it is not a professional thing to do, but he pulls it off. He pulls off a lot of things.
He gets away with murder.
Like it's professional, if you have...
Do the other actors sit there and roll their eyes if you're on set with a guy and he doesn't know his line? Do you just sit there and go, oh, this is going to be a long day?
There are scenes where the shirt gets torn off and we roll our eyes. Bill liked to expose himself.
Oh, really? Because he was in good shape and he'd show his chest.
He was in better shape.
He knew the sex symbol thing was working for him.
Yeah.
So if he tore off his shirt, that meant they had to go get him another shirt, and that would drag out the day.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. And
the eyes would roll.
because
you see...
because it wasn't written in the script for him to rip off his shirt. And so...
Well, I think he got them to write it in.
I see.
And so we knew that. And so we would,
Would he do things like, I think I'll rip off my shirt here?
Yeah, was it unscripted sometimes? Was it sometimes unscripted and he would just rip off his shirt?
Did you see that show with, that was a spoof on Star Trek?
Yeah.
What was that? What was it
the
called?
movie?
Galaxy Quest?
Galaxy Quest.
Yeah.
Great, yes.
There's a scene where Tim, what's his name?
Tim Allen.
Tim Allen gets his shirt torn off, and Sigourney Weaver rolls her eyes. We recognize that.
Oh, really?
It was a documentary for us. It was not
I didn't know Bill used to rip his shirt off, though.
You weren't watching Star Trek.
No, I watched it all the time. I just didn't know that he would do it even unexpectedly, and just cause...
No, I think he talked to the powers that be.
I'll rip my shirt off here.
Yeah.
He wasn't that built that he should be ripping his shirt off.
He wasn't. No. He was rather fleshy.
I remember the episode where he was fighting that reptile thing.
Rex.
And he had his shirt off almost the entire episode.
And did he look great to you?
No.
No. But that was the fun part of it. To let us watch his flesh shiver.
I remember in one episode you had your shirt off, though, but you were ripped.
I worked out.
Yeah, you were doing the sword fighting thing.
The fencing foil.
Fencing, yeah. Good for you.
Only one episode where I got to take my shirt off.
Right. All oiled. You were oiled down, too, if I remember correctly.
No, that was genuine perspiration.
Perspiration.
Because I was, rehearsing in between.
Right. Wow.
But that was...
Bill should do that in every role, even today. Like, just take his shirt off.
Keep taking his shirt off.
Yeah, right. I'd watch that.
Maybe that's why the show got canceled. He was suggesting that he take his shirt off.
Meanwhile, I was doing the math. Bill's got to be about 80 years old now.
He is 80.
Wow.
Exactly 80.
He's in pretty good shape for an 80-year-old guy.
Yeah, and pretty energetic.
Yeah.
I've seen
yes, he is.
Leonard Nimoy is the same age.
Is that right?
Announced that he's retiring.
He's retiring.
Yeah, but Leonard seems 80. You know what I mean? He looks tired.
Bill looks good.
But Leonard's got those big fake teeth. He's got white, he should age his teeth a little bit, right?
Yeah.
They're too white.
He used to smoke a lot.
I see.
And I guess it didn't look too good.
Right. Because he's got the teeth of a 20-year-old. And he's, he's 80 years old.
Well, there was a point where he looked like he had Soviet dentistry.
Oh, God.